Live. Nice.
Welcome, everyone. And welcome to what technically would have been the, 38th
38? Yeah.
episode of Playtest
That's
This.
what it says on Facebook, at least. So
Okay, well, I believe Facebook, even though I made the post, it could still be true. Um, Here, let me exit out of all my Facebooks so that my computer doesn't struggle quite so bad.
oh, got to close some tabs. I understand.
Close the tabs. There we go. All right. Well, we were going to play test with Chris Backe, but I
Chris Backe.
believe he is sleeping.
Yeah, it would make sense.
So I think he
it's probably
is sleeping, and so that might have to be postponed for another day.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 a.m. Especially when you stayed up till midnight, it's hard to get up.
Exactly.
If he's anything like me, that's when you do all of your game design.
Yes. No, that exactly. The girls go to bed, and then I do my game design stuff.
Yep.
So Jack and I were just catching up and chatting, and I guess we'll just throw up our own stuff and play test each other's stuff and make fun of each other for making stupid mistakes, and then we'll just kind of do our own thing. And if anybody has any questions, or like something you want us to chat about, design wise or whatever, we could do like a Ask Me Anything at the same time as we're playtesting each other's games.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. Ask us anything.
That's what TK said. Ask us anything. Yeah. But let's pull up. You want to do yours first, Jack?
Sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Let's take a look at it. Let's see. I will. Games.
And anyone watching is gonna also see your server and password. The scoundrels.
Oh.
That's okay. I don't think we have any people who wish us ill watching our live stream.
Yeah, I doubt it. Okay, so I need to create a server.
Okay.
That you can join. Create multiplayer. I'll just do 3 players. The server name is going to be, well, I'll tell you in a second when I get it made.
When I create it, I will tell you what I called it.
Okay, this game is called Intruder Alert, and the server is Intruder. Password is Alert. No spaces, no capital letters.
No caps. Right, yeah. As we were saying, ask us anything. TK was writing, ask us anything.
What was he? Oh, I don't even see that on the chat.
You don't see it? Yeah.
I said ask us anything.
Oh, New Kingdom Gaming. For some reason.
Oh.
For some reason, I replaced New Kingdom Gaming with
Kinson Key.
Yeah, because the king, I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
Kind of works. No, not really.
Colton designed the solo mode for New Kingdom Gardeners.
Oh, did he? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it plays pretty. I just did a live stream of it on Sunday, and
nice.
very impressed with his work. He did a great job with it.
I think that was the live stream that I dropped by. I was in my car and I couldn't really hear you, so I was.
Oh really? Oh yeah, yeah. No, that one was definitely quiet. I learned after my first one. I was like, "Ooh."
And what I did notice was you needed to figure out how to do some background noise canceling.
Yeah, no kidding. Because the interesting thing about this office is the ceilings are seriously like, it's like 30 feet high in this tiny office.
Really?
So it's super echoey.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. It's just the way the house was built. It's kind of funky.
Yeah. Where should I sit? Should I sit?
Sit right next to me, either on my right or my left.
I will sit in red here.
Okay, so you'll immediately notice that there are some similarities between this and New Kingdom Gardeners. But it's a different concept in some ways.
Uwe makes it work. You can make it work too.
Yeah. I have one thing that I just do over and over.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that as long as people like it.
Okay, so how does this game work? Let's take a look.
Let's find out.
Okay,
yeah,
so
Jack and I For anyone who is actually listening, Jack and I were talking. We were like, I don't know, he might be sleeping. We might not make it. We might just have to pull up some games we're not quite ready to do, but we'll do it anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what we'll do. We each get a dog. So the conceit of this game is you are a dog and you live in the suburbs and you're trying to defend your yard from baddies. Baddies are both critters and folks who are wandering by on the street and they are trying to get into your yard. So this is all like a game from a dog's perspective, right? They think that everybody's out to get them and they're all trying to get in. So as a dog, you're barking at these intruders, trying to scare them away before they break in and get into invade your yard. So
they are trying to get in.
They are trying to get in. Yeah. So Evan, you are going to play as Sheila. And well, let's see. Sheila, I don't think has a picture, so she's not as fun. Okay. But here, let's see if we can get a card with. How about you be Muffin?
I'll be Muffin. Okay.
You can be Muffin, and hopefully I got old Jack. Oh, well, no, but I did get Digger. Digger's my spirit animal. I do love dachshunds. So, okay, so you are Muffin, and this is your fence. So this game works with a rotating card mechanic. And that works as kind of like an action reset for your dog. And then your defense is a progressively reducing fence. So you have, if you look at your fence card, it starts vertically like this, and then it rotates to the left. So basically you have like 4 hit points before your fence is, you flip it over.
So
your
I start
fence
on the white picket?
Yeah, you start on the white picket fence on the top and you rotate it. You've got so 1, 2, 3 hits, and then on the 4th hit, you flip it over and it says, "Oh snap, broken fence." So now things can just freely come into your yard. Then your dog works kind of similarly in that you basically have 3 action points because you start out alert, and then after spending 1 action point, you become frantic. Then you spend a 2nd action point, you are pooped.
Yeah.
And that 3rd action point, you fall asleep.
Yeah.
So a sleeping dog has to reset before they can act again.
Yeah.
So basically that's what you're working on. It's like a progressive, there's like this hit point system for things getting into your yard. And then as a dog, you have a limited number of actions depending on how much you want to exhaust yourself in a turn before sleeping, which is a mandatory skip. Like when you're sleeping, you mandatorily, it's mandated that you skip to the next turn. Okay, so on your turn, what can you do? Well, your turn consists of 3 phases. One is the alert phase where your dog is flipped back to alert. So you've gotten enough of a snooze that you go back to alert, and you prepare the baddies that are coming out that are kind of like assembled in the cul-de-sac. So the way that the game kind of works is like there will be a cul-de-sac here, and we'll have in a 2-player game, there'll be 2 baddies. So at the start of our turn, we'll set those out. So we have 2 baddies ready to go. We're back to alert. And then we would activate anything that occurs in that step. So one thing to keep in mind is you have goodies, which are these green cards. And goodies can be a number of different things. They can be
goodies and baddies.
Yeah, so goodies are like, this is a helper. This is Bart the cat. He can take a watch action while you are sleeping. So the way allies work is allies kind of watch your back when you're pooped yourself and you're sleeping. So so you can get an ally, you can get technology, like a big hole. So technology allows you to do certain things. Then you have gear, like this big stick that can be used to repair your fence. So gear is one-time use. Like if you have gear, you spend it by discarding it. Tech and allies, both allies are permanent. They just are always there.
Yeah.
And tech is kind of permanent in that when you use it, you turn it, and that card can't be used again until it's fixed. So you have to fix your tech to use it again. So basically, you build your yard with goodies, and then you have these baddies coming out. So one thing you could do is, like, in the alert phase, you can fix any technology in your yard. That's something you can do during the alert phase. But for the most part, the alert phase is just the reset step. The intrude step, that's when the baddies determine which yards they're going to enter. And then the invade step is where they're trying to like knock down your fence. And that's where if you have any baddies in front of your fence at the start of that step, you will take damage to your fence.
Okay.
Or they'll enter your yard if you don't have a fence to block it. So that's the 3 phases of a turn.
Okay.
The actions that you can take on your turn are all listed on this player aid on your left. So the actions you can take that all cost 1 point and turn your dog are you can bark to scare baddies at your fence. You can chase invaders from your yard. So if you have an invader in your yard currently, you can chase them away. You can dig for goodies. So if you dig, you just draw 1 card off the top of this draw pile. Oh, actually, no, sorry. That's not right. You draw 2 cards and you pick 1. That's the way that works. You put the other card back at the bottom of the draw pile. And then you watch for goodies or baddies. That is what that means is if you take a watch action, you can flip these cards over to see what they are.
Okay.
So when they first come out into order, you in the cul-de-sac, you won't be able to see them. But if you're paying attention, you can use an action to see what they are. And then the last thing you can do is use an action to fix any tech in your yard, or build technology in your yard. So those are the 5 things you can do on a turn. You'll notice the dogs have asymmetric abilities. So Muffin, she can bark up to 2 times when she's alert. Digger can dig up to 2 times when he's alert. So there's like that asymmetric difference between all of the dogs. Our 2 dogs are pretty similar, so that helps. So what happens when you have a baddie at your fence? So how does this work? Well, it goes in turn order, and turn order will change every round. First player will be the first one to attract baddies to their yard. So the baddies will move from right to left. So this card will go, and then this card will go. So you would reveal like, oh, bees. So bees are going to come to my fence. And then the next one, the way that the AI sort of works here is like they go to an open fence first. So since my fence is occupied, this will go to your fence. Both of our fences were occupied, they would go in turn order. So you can stack up baddies. Let's see. So you'll notice that the baddies also have 2 icons. So they have an alert, and then they have a scared icon. That's 2 champagne glasses clinking because you're celebrating that you've scared them. But the way that works is you have the alert status, and then you have the scared status. So if they're scared, you flip them over, and that just means that they won't attempt to strike your fence, and they'll actually just move over to the next yard. So there's when you bark, what happens is, let's say I have this guy at my fence, you have the squirrel at your fence, right? I take a bark action, that guy's going to move over here and he's going to be scared. So he's not going to attempt to strike you and get into your fence that turn, but the following turn he will. Okay.
And then when does he finally leave?
So they finally leave if they are scared and they're barked at.
Okay.
If they are scared and they are barked at, and then they are discarded. They go back to the bottom of the deck. Or they go to a discard pile, actually, because the win condition of the game is you go once through the baddie deck. Then after that, you shuffle in these 3 super baddies into the baddie deck, and you go through that deck until you draw an owner card. When your owners come home, that's the last round, and at the end of that round, the game is over.
Okay.
Yep, because you've defended your yard. So you took care of it while your owners were away.
All right.
Okay, so that's the game. Do you have any questions, Evan?
I'm sure I will.
Yeah. We'll see how it plays. Oh, one other thing. I totally forgot. Here's another asymmetric card that you get at the beginning of the game. I'll just deal you one randomly. your yard is a maze. So what that means is the way that your yard works is this is a once per game activation. So you can use this ability once per game and flip it over, and you can no longer use your yard.
Okay.
But what your yard allows you to repel folks from your fence. So one thing I didn't talk about with baddies is there's two types of baddies. There's folks and then there's critters. So these are both critters. Let's see. These are folks.
Yeah.
Critters have special abilities, folks do not. Okay. So yeah. So you can repel all of the folks from your fence once per game. And I have the ability to dig once. So I can just dig at any time. Yeah, digger in the garden. Okay, cool. So let's do this. I forgot to do this the last time I play tested this game. I need a first player marker. So we'll just throw a block out there. So this will rotate at the end of every step just to determine where the baddies go.
Yeah.
But we're all set. We got our dogs, we got our fence, we got our garden, ready to go. I will be first player just to help us through it.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll like know what to do.
Yeah.
And and we'll deal 2 cards from the baddie deck. And then it is the first phase, the alert phase. So baddies are prepared. Then we have the intrude phase. We could do something here if you wanted to, but it looks like I don't think there's anything that we could do. You don't have anything at your fence, so you can't use any of your abilities. But I guess I could do my dig stat. You know what? I might as well just do it. I'm just gonna dig. I'm gonna take 2 cards off of the deck here, choose one, and I'll put the other away. Yeah. So I'll just go at the bottom of the deck. Put that back. So then we go to the intrude phase. So the baddies will go like this. We go 1, 2. So we've got one guy coming to my fence, one guy at your fence, and then we flip them. And then we can we've got the invade step. So it's my step. It's my turn first in this phase. I've got a raccoon. So raccoons, they discard 1 goodie if they invade your yard. So what I'm going to do is, since I'm alert, I'm going to take a dig action. So I will dig. And when I do that, I can take 2 dig actions. So I'll draw 4 cards, take a look at them, pick 2. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna invite Billy over to my yard. So Billy is a helper. You can only have 1 helper, by the way. You can't have more than 1. So if you end up with multiple allies, you gotta replace them. So Billy can build while I'm sleeping. Nice. I am going to use my first action to dig. I'm going to use my second action to bark, and I'm going to send this raccoon over your way. He'll be scared.
Nice.
Then I'm going to then I'm gonna dig. So I'll dig a couple times here. Oh, whoops, I'm turning the wrong card. Okay, so I'm asleep. Let's see. Okay. All right, so that's that. And it's your turn, Evan.
Okay. What's the player count on this?
The player count is 4 currently, but could be higher. Or lower. I don't know.
So on my turn, I can bark 2 times when alert, which is now.
Yeah.
So what happens when I bark at the bees?
So when you bark at the bees, since the bees are scared, they would be dismissed. So they would just go away.
Oh, they're already scared?
Yeah,
Is
because
he scared of
or
them?
no, sorry, not the bees. The raccoon is scared. The bees are fine. So
Okay.
yeah.
So I would scare the raccoon.
So the raccoon would be dismissed. It would go away. But the bees
I
would
thought he
come
would
over to
move
my
over
yard.
to your yard.
The raccoon is scared, so it would if you bark at it, it will go away. But the bees, they will just go over to my yard.
If I bark at them.
Yeah, they'd be scared and they would go away.
Okay, so I bark at the
From your-
bees.
Mhm.
And they
Okay,
go
so then they go to me.
visit you.
Mhm.
And if I don't bark at the raccoon, does he just walk away?
He will stay there and he'll reactivate in the next phase.
What? All right, I'll bark at them.
Okay. Nice.
I wanted to send him your way. All right, so that was my double
Yeah.
bark.
Uh-huh.
And then I have 2 more actions. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll dig.
Mm-hmm.
So I draw 4 and pick 2.
Mm-hmm.
Ba-bam, ba-bam. I don't really know what's good, but I'm going to get a stone fence and a chaser.
Sweet. Okay, great. So you did 2 barks, 2 digs, and yeah, that's great. So you can, if you want, you can play Naomi right away.
Because you get 3 actions, right?
Yeah, playing a card doesn't count as an action though, unless it's a tech card. So these cards here, they need to be built.
And I already spent my 3 actions.
Yeah. So, but you could play her. You can play her card. Yeah. It's kind of a weird rule, but
yeah,
it's just some cards can be played right away. Some plays cannot. Yeah. So gear and allies can be played, but fences and tech, they need to be built. Yeah. So, okay, let's see. So, okay, so you got Naomi. You're asleep. I'm asleep. I'm going to use this opportunity to have Billy build for me. So since I'm asleep, Billy's going to do his thing and he is going to build me a camera.
Whoa, Billy.
Yeah. He's going to build me a camera.
Okay.
And the camera can scare one of the baddies away from the fence, but I'm not going to use it right away. So, so I got a B here. That moves us back to, do you have anything you want to do on your end step?
I don't think I can.
I don't think there's anything you can do. So next we go back to the alert phase. So what we do is we turn our dogs to alert. We turn all baddies to alert that are on the field. And then we turn our allies back to alert as well. And then we go through the phases. Again, you're now the first player, so you get to act first.
Okay.
So in each phase, you get the first action. So the first action is the alert phase. We're prepared. There's nothing you really can do. You can, however, build this card if you want. So that's something you could do at any phase.
At any phase?
Yeah. So you can take your actions. In each phase, you can take actions. Which is something I forgot to mention.
But that would reduce me from alert.
Yes, it would. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to build there.
Okay. Great. I'm not going to do anything either. So then it goes to the intrude phase. Oh, and it's another important rule that I forgot about this game. Every turn, you add an additional baddie from the deck.
Okay.
So this time there'll be 3. So in this phase, now we're at the intrude phase. Baddies come up to the fences. So the way that they would go is my fence is occupied. So this guy's going to go to your fence. This guy is going to go to my fence because it just proceeds in turn order. Then it's going to go to your fence. Okay. So, or actually, the way that would really go is that guy goes to your fence because it's unoccupied. Then your first player. So this guy would go to your fence. Then this player, I have less guys at my fence, so it's going to come to me. So we each have 2 guys at our fence.
I was just waiting to see how you could justify putting them all on me.
No, yeah. I've made a rule right this second that they all go to you.
And then actually, see this guy.
And if you
carry the 1.
If your name starts with a vowel,
yeah,
it goes to you. Yeah. No, so okay, so now we're at the intrude step. So you have the first opportunity to act.
Do these flip up?
No, not right now. They will flip up on the next phase.
Intrude. I still don't want to use any of my actions until the last phase, I think. Because I can use them all in the last phase, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Totally. Okay. So then you would reveal these guys.
Yeah.
You have 2 folks, and I have bees and a squirrel. So the squirrel is you have to chase him twice to remove him. The bees are instantly invading. So what happens here is I have this.
Do I go first, or do you go first?
Yeah, you go first. Sorry, I was just in. Yeah.
Okay.
You're up.
So I bark twice.
Okay.
Yep. And so these guys both turn around.
Yep, and they come over to my yard.
Get out of here. Get out of town.
Nice.
All right, that was my first action.
Mm-hmm.
And then do I take more actions, or I wait for you?
You can take more action. You can use as many actions as you want.
Then I'll go to pooped and build a stone fence.
Sweet.
And then I think that's it.
Okay, very cool. So I am going to. So I got all of these guys at my fence now.
Yeah.
The bees will instantly invade my yard, so they're in there.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to use the camera to scare away the squirrel. So that's going to break my camera. Squirrel's going to come over here.
And he's scared.
I'm going to use
champagne. Is that true?
Yeah, he's champagne. That's right. Yeah, so I am going to So I'm gonna chase these bees out of my yard. So that's gonna cost me 1. So I'll chase that guy out. He's scared and comes over to your yard.
What? I already had the bees, didn't I?
Yeah. They just kind of continue to cycle. So scary. I chased the bees away. Now I'm gonna bark at the jogger to just send her out of here. Then I'm gonna fix my camera. So I'm gonna write that thing, and I'm asleep. So at this point, I can have Billy, since I'm asleep, he's gonna build for me while I'm asleep. He's gonna build a landmine. So the landmine chases 1 folks from your yard. So this guy's still at the fence, but he's scared. So he's not gonna try to knock it down. Okay. He's just gonna sit there.
Okay.
Do you want to do anything with your last action point?
I mean, I guess I could, so what do I need to do to get rid of the squirrel?
You can bark.
And then he goes away?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I will bark.
Okay.
And he goes away?
Yep.
And then...
Sweet.
And then could Naomi chase the bees?
No, the bees are not in your yard.
Oh,
they're at your fence.
There. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So then we would reset. So we reset our dogs to alert. We reset the baddies, and then we will pull out this phase. There are 4 baddies. So there are going to be 4 coming out now. And I'm first player. So I get to move first here. I've got this mailman. What I'm going to do is play a fancy caller. It's a gear card. And what it does is it distracts folks. So what distract means is distract, and these just always cycle to the bottom of the deck. So distract keeps him at my fence, but he's scared. So he doesn't move to your yard. He stays at my yard, but he is distracted. So I'll use my fancy collar. Then let's see. Do I want to do anything else? Nope. I gotta reactivate Billy. Okay. Your call. You can use as many action points as you want.
I don't really think I have anything to do, so I will not. Right? Or do I need to do something with the bees?
You can bark at the bees if you want to get them away from your fence so they don't instantly invade your yard.
So what does chasing do?
Chasing is only when something is actually in your yard.
Okay. No, I'll just hang out.
Okay, cool. So then we'll move to the intrude step. And in the intrude step, I'm the first player, so it'll go 1, 2. This one will go to you, and then this one will go to me. So I'll have 4 guys at my fence. You just have 2.
Really?
But
Okay.
the bees will go into your yard.
How come we don't split it evenly?
Because it goes by turn order. So since actually, no, you're right. I think it would be, hold on, let me take a look at this. So I have 1, you have 1. I'm first player. So it goes me, you, me,
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, so that's how it would work.
Okay.
And the bees go into your yard now.
Okay.
So yeah, so now you got bees in your yard.
Whoa.
You got these 2 guys, and I will move first in this phase. So I've got a repairman,
Skater and a salesman.
a repairman, a neighbor, and a mailman. So these are all folks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna scare one of them with my camera, so I'll send the repairman over to you.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna bark at both of these guys and send them both over to your yard. And then I am pooped, so I think I'm gonna use my last action to dig. I'm gonna take 2, and I'm gonna put the tennis ball thrower. No. There we go. Okay. And I'm asleep, so I'm gonna have Billy build a tennis ball thrower for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's your turn.
Okay. I bark twice. So what's the difference between how barking affects these guys versus these guys?
So these ones, if they're on the champagne side, they're discarded.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that are alert come over to my yard.
I'm gonna bark at these 2, obviously.
Okay.
But they get champagne.
Mm-hmm.
Champagne.
Yeah, that's right.
Champagne. And then this just needs to be chased, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which she can do later.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will dig once. What's an energy?
Sorry, what?
What's energy?
Oh, that's just 1 turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take a treat.
Sweet. So that'll move you from pooped to
well, I'm not going to use
frantic.
It yet. I'm not going to use it yet.
Gotcha.
Let's save that for the most opportune moment. Save that treat. And then I guess I don't want too many people clogging up my fence. So I'll bark one of these people away. And then And Naomi will chase away the bees.
Okay.
That's it.
That's very nice. Oh, she chased them.
Yeah.
Okay, so these guys, they go this way and then they come over to my yard. Yeah. So they need to be chasing, gets them out of your yard and it changes their status. So you could, if you have something in your yard, you can like bark at it to scare it and then chase it and it goes away completely.
Yeah.
But barking at
I'll
it
send
is
it over to you.
yeah. Or chasing it, yeah. Okay, cool. Let's see. That's it, I believe. Nobody active. So we'll just reset everything. So you reset your helper, reset your dog, reset the baddies. Did you want to reset anything else?
Let's see, we're resetting everything. Yep. There we go.
Yeah.
And these guys reset too.
Yes.
Good chow.
Oh, Eric Ledger wants to join in and play with us. That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll do another game. Okay,
Nice.
Anyway, so we're back to the reset step. Everybody's alert. You're the first player now, Evan, so you get the first move here.
Whoa, you're messing up
Sorry.
my jam.
I'm just, I don't know what. I'm trying to control you. It's wrong.
You can't control me. You're not my mom.
No, what am I doing?
Do we put these suckers out first?
No. Oh, yes.
And there should be like 6 of them.
Yeah. So the way that this is going to work is just like any classic deck builder game, you are going to take your discard pile, you're going to flip it over to create a new draw pile. But now we're gonna shuffle in super baddies.
Whoa.
So there's super baddies in
1,
here
2, 3,
now. We're
4,
gonna
5.
flip. Ooh, so now we got 5.
And I'm player
5.
1. So
Yes.
it goes 1. Quit messing with my jam. 2.
Yes.
3.
Yep.
4, and I get the super baddie.
Oh yeah, you do.
Oh yikes. Oh yikes. And my first maneuver is to just wait and see what happens.
Okay, sweet. So we'll activate all of the. Well, actually, sorry. Before that, I'm going to take an action, and that action is I'm going to bark to get rid of the bees, and I'm going to fix my camera. So I'm going to do both of those things. So the bees are over here with you now.
You son of a gun.
Okay. Yeah, now it's your turn.
Okay.
So now we got invaders. Yep.
Yep.
So I've got birds at my fence.
Aliens
Those instantly invade my yard.
Possum must bark twice to scare. Mole instantly invades. So does he just come down?
Yeah.
Now?
You got a mole in your yard. I've got birds in my yard, so.
You always move my cards around.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep doing that too.
Okay. So I'm gonna use this treat to take a double bark because I am alert.
Okay.
Let's bark twice. How do I get rid of aliens? Do I just bark at them?
Hold on. Let me check something really quick. That's a good question. I think the deal with super baddies is they can't be. Oh, they're never not alert. So you can bark at them and they'll just stay. They'll still be alert, but they'll come over to my yard.
Okay, so I'm gonna double bark. Aliens come visit you.
Okay.
And the mailman comes to visit you.
Okay.
And then now the mole I can just wait and Naomi will chase the mole away, right?
Yep.
Thanks, Naomi. Okay, now I'm gonna double bark again.
Okay.
I'm gonna bark away this possum.
Okay.
Go. Wow.
Oh no. Okay. Double bark the possum.
Double bark the possum. And then I will bark the neighbor.
Okay.
There you go. And I will now if I bark the bee, does it just come back to you?
Yeah, no, it goes away forever.
I'm gonna dig.
Okay.
Chase non-flying critter from yard. Dig while you sleep. I can only have one helper, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll take the tech, but it's not in play yet, right?
You have tech. Oh, you're taking the hole. So tech needs to be built.
Yeah.
So you need to use an action to build it.
Yet.
Yeah.
Drop that card, you.
Okay. All right. So
and that was a dig. And then now I'm asleep, and Naomi is gonna chase this mole over to your yard.
Yeah. So the mole comes over. Okay, great. I got a big problem here.
There you go.
So I think what I'm going to do is, so luckily I've got this tennis ball thrower. I'll use that to chase the birds away. Those will come over here to you. Oh, you know what? I need to change my rotation degrees. That's why. That's what I'm doing to you. Okay, so chase the bird away.
Yeah.
I'll use the camera to send I think the aliens to your yard. So I'm gonna scare the aliens. Then I'm going to oh man. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got a raccoon. I'm gonna scare the raccoon. I'm gonna bark at the raccoon. I'm gonna send him over to your yard. So just once, because then I'm pooped.
He has to be barked at twice, though.
Does he?
Yeah.
No, the possum. Possum has to be barked at twice.
Okay.
So Billy can build while I'm sleeping. That's not going to help me. But I am going to use my comfy bed, which puts me all the way back to alert.
What?
And
that was a better gear than I had.
I know. It's hey, just give me notes, man.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. Designer got the best card. I don't know.
1, 2, 3 barks. So I'm gonna. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna. Bark. Bark. Bark out the possum. Let's get him out of here. And
he takes 2 barks, right?
Yeah.
So you just did 4 barks.
No, I did. Oh, he does take 2 barks. I'm sorry. No, you're right. I'll send away the mole. Okay. Get the mole out of here. Okay, that's it. Now, the aliens are going to strike your fence.
What?
Unless, are you alert? Are you asleep?
I think I'm asleep.
Okay, so they're going to strike your fence, but you have a stone fence, so that'll just go away.
Boop. Right, then I have to fix it.
Yep. And that is that.
Okay.
So then we go on to the next phase where dogs are alert. The helpers are up, and then we do another baddie phase. This time it's 6 cards. So we're going to shuffle the mole in. Shuffle the mole.
So,
and this is definitely the last round.
2.
Whoops.
3rd. Yes. Now 3.
4,
Wait,
5.
no, you get
6.
the first 3.
Yes.
And then I get this one, and then you get this one, and then I get this one. Because I get the ultra baddies always.
And then I get one too. Yeah.
Wait, no, you took one too many cards.
Oh, I did. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, so you get both of them.
I
Nice.
see how you designed this.
Am I the first player? Or are you the first player?
You're the first player.
The
Wait,
first
I thought I
player?
handed that to you.
I handed it back. I don't know
my
what
goodness.
I'm doing. I'm
Stop
losing
picking up my stuff.
I can't promise I'll stop at this point. It's just gonna happen.
There's nothing we can do about
it. It can't be stopped. I can't be stopped. Okay, so these guys are all active. The mole. Oh geez. So I have both. No. Yeah, I have a mole. I have a mole in my yard.
Oh, everything is alert again.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so they're all invading. It's my turn first, right?
Yes.
Oh, and you got super baddies. What are they?
Let's
owners
see.
are here, which we
Instantly
knew
invades.
that. So we got to finish the round and then the game is over.
Instantly invades.
Yeah. Yeah, Bigfoot. Bigfoot can't be scared away.
Discard one goodie when it invades. Okay, not a problem. Oh, just from hand?
Yeah. Okay, so my guys, so I got the first move, so I'm gonna
Bigfoot.
I'm gonna chase this mole over to your yard. Then I'm going to bark at the jogger and bark at the neighbor.
Okay.
And I'm pooped. I'm asleep. That's it. That's all I got.
Oh man, they're gonna invade the heck out of you.
I know.
Okay, so for me, I'm gonna is Bigfoot a critter or a folk?
He's a critter.
Are you sure?
Yeah, aliens are folks. I know. It's a tough call.
Okay, so I bark at the alien, which sends him over to you, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then I bark at the Bigfoot, which sends him over to you.
You can't. Bigfoot is stuck there.
No, he said he can't be scared.
He can be chased. Oh, sorry. The aliens are immune to chasing. Bigfoot is immune to barking. That's really what it should say.
Scared is not a keyword in the game.
Yes.
But it's written on the card. Okay, got it.
I know. It's fair enough.
Got it. Understood. My second bark will be at this raccoon.
Okay.
Okay, so that was 2 barks.
Get the raccoon out of there.
And then let's see. I know I've got this fence that I can just repel all the folks. So that's going to repel everybody except for Bigfoot. So that'll be fine. So I can just chase away the bees, right? Or I can chase Bigfoot and the bees.
Well, you can't chase Bigfoot because he's not in your yard yet.
Oh, okay.
He's at your fence.
The
bees and the birds.
Bees.
Yeah. Okay.
And the I'll chase. I don't even need to chase the birds. I think I'm just gonna. I think I'm gonna dig. Feeling diggy.
Okay.
What is watching? What's the keyword watch mean?
Yeah, so watch is you can identify the baddies before they invade your yard.
Okay.
Seems kind of pointless.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yep.
I thought
Cool.
it'd be cool, but I don't know if it is.
Okay. Um,
Okay.
that's my shtick.
So now here's what happens. I'm the first player, so we'll resolve all of this
Oh wait,
mess.
I'm asleep. Naomi chases
The birds. Yeah. So I'm sleeping. That's bad. So I'm gonna get so the way it resolves, it should resolve in some sort of order.
Uh-huh.
We haven't been keeping super good track of that. So is it we were doing right to left, weren't we?
Sure.
Okay, we'll do that. So the aliens are first, alien, squirrel, repairman, possum. That's gonna knock my fence like this. 1, 2, 3. Oh snap, my fence is broken. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I have a mailman who comes into my yard, and that activates my trap card, my landmine. Chase one folk from yard.
Okay.
So that would repel him. Now, if we went in reverse order, on the other hand, that it would be the aliens. The aliens would be in my yard, and this would do nothing to them.
Right.
They'd still be there. So two possible resolutions there.
Whatever.
But then that's
so
your
where are the
turn.
aliens at now? How come they're not in your yard?
They would have just attacked the fence and not been able to.
Oh, they attacked your fence, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, these are the 4 that hit your fence. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep. Yeah, and then one was able to actually get in.
Okay.
Yeah. So then on the next phase, they would come in, but yeah.
What does this guy do when he's in there now? Oh, you chased him away.
He's in my yard. Yeah. So he or the alien, like the aliens would be in my yard. The mailman. We'll talk about that at the end. And then the last one for you would be what happens with you.
I trigger my maze.
Oh no, and that pushes all of these guys over to me.
They're all repelled.
Right?
I don't know what repelled means.
Yeah, that's a good question. What does repelled mean? They come over here.
Now you said he's a critter, not a folk.
Yes.
So he does not get repelled. So he walks in, or he hits my fence.
That's true. Yeah, he would hit your fence. Cool. So I didn't even talk about end game scoring, but you get it's basically it's either your fence health or how many people are in your yard is how you lose. So I have one person in my yard, you have nobody in your yard. So I lose, you win. The winner is the person who has the best condition, right? They have either these people or they have the most fence points.
Right.
And it's a combination of both. So
I've got the best fence and the fewest people in front of my yard.
Yep. Yeah, so that's a win for you. Now, here are 2 things to know about this game. One, I played this game one time with my wife, and she was like, "That's pretty decent. You should play test it more." And then I played it one time with our playtest group, and they were like, "Jack, you need to work on this game more." And so I'm like, "Yeah, I know." So that's kind of all that I've done with this game.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. So let's see, 929 feedback. Jack. So frankly, you just need to clean up the language, man.
I know the like steps and phases.
You got to clean up the language and clean up the flow of the flow of the steps and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like a fun game underneath. As long as it gets to a streamlined point where I don't have to ask every single time I do something what the effect is going to be.
What am I doing?
Yeah. What happens if I bark at this one? What happens if I chase this one? So I don't know if that means you need to actually delete chase or bark, and just have one of them and just have it work how it works. Like you're always chasing, you're always barking, and it just has slightly different effect whether they're ready or whether they're champagned. But But if you clean up the language on all the cards so that it's always consistent, then maybe having a differentiation between chase and bark is okay. I don't know.
Yeah, because then there's also a couple other notes where like I use the word distract
Yeah.
at one
Right.
point,
Right.
and then
Distract doesn't mean anything right
and
now.
repel
Repel
also
doesn't
doesn't.
mean anything.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one
Scared.
to fix.
Scared doesn't mean anything.
That's true.
So you
Or
just,
they or like do they all mean the same thing? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
It's one it's one or the other.
So you just kind of have to do a pass
This is
for keyword consistency and make sure that
yeah.
everything actually means something
Hmm.
and that the player knows what the effect of using any of the actions is going to be in any given game state with like
Yeah.
real easy, just a glance should be able to know what that's going to do,
Yeah.
you know, like because
Yeah.
I still at the end of the game I was like, wait, do the bees get discarded or do they go over to your side? Like I still didn't know. um you know, because depending on whether it chased or barked, they either, I don't know, just clean it up, and then
Yeah.
we'll play it again, and then we'll see if it needs further cleaning up or if the language use itself cleans it up enough where all those questions just fade away.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What else? Here's a question I have for you in
Yeah.
this design. What else would you like to see just out of this game? Like,
Um,
that's unnecessary or that's too much or
the ability to use actions during every single phase seemed
hmm
not necessary. It was very edge case.
mm,
I would just hone in all the trigger windows to the times when you would actually do it,
okay.
and not have like one thing that you can do during phase one that is weird that you can do that during phase one.
Do you think
Um,
it's better that you do your actions all at the same time or that you can take this action at this time, this action at this time? What would
I
be
as
preferable?
far as phases,
Yeah.
I
So
would
like a
have.
good example is like building. Like if you're
Mm-hmm,
building stuff in your yard,
mm-hmm.
should that be separated from bark? Like you can build here, you can bark here, or is it like you can build or bark?
I would say that during the alert phase, um, you might have some tech or cards on your tableau that say, you know, that's like alert symbol. That's like you could have a trigger window there, but it has to be like on the
Yeah.
card.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's how you'd handle the exceptions. It's on the card with a symbol, or it says alert, do this thing.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah.
your actions, they only happen during whatever phase, the intrude phase
Yeah.
or whatever. And then you know your friends who do stuff while you're sleeping, that is gonna have that's gonna say invade, you know, do the thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you're sleeping. It's the fact that it's after you're done taking actions essentially.
Yeah.
So I would be like, there are some cards that happen during alert, some cards that happen during invade, but you take your actions during intrude.
Oh, okay.
You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
You take all your actions during intrude. There's no like,
Okay. Yeah.
because like every round you were like, do you take actions during alert? I'm like, no, there's no, I don't have any actions to take during alert. Why would I do that? You know?
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair.
So yeah, I would say just play your actions just during the one phase, and then if you want cards that do them at different times, that's fine as long as it's called out evenly. Um, the what else? Yeah, I mean you're right. I'm not a huge rotating card fan, but I think that does allow you some component leeway, which is good, which is nice.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and oh, what's Chris saying? Chris says, "All good. See you soon." Oh, oh, there's an Amber Alert. Okay, sorry.
Oh. Oh no.
I think Chris thought we were starting at a different time. Um,
It's those time zones, man.
yeah,
They can
yeah,
be
time
tough.
zones. What was I saying? Oh yeah, you're saving on
Something
component
about
cost and stuff, right?
yeah.
Because you don't need a bunch of
Uh-huh.
like counters and things if you're just rotating your fence card. So I think that's just
That's
a
right.
personal thing for me where I don't prefer card rotations, but it does simplify production cost and everything. So that's nice.
Hmm.
Um, some of your gear cards seemed um, kind of like neither
Instant win.
neither here nor there as far as
Oh,
efficacy.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Um, if I have a fence that I have to take an action to play it out, and then I can bark with it, and then I have to take an action to untap it to bark again, I actually
Yeah.
net 0. It's actually a net negative because I had to take the dig action to go get the card,
Yeah. That's
right? So
fair.
that's a net negative, that electric fence.
Yeah.
Um, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so definitely take a pass through those effects and make sure that like I got a card that gave me 1 bonus action, and you got a card that gave you 3 bonus actions.
Hmm.
Um, you know, so the luck of that draw might be fine in a game of this length, actually, because it was
Oh, you know what? I actually forgot to mention something else about the conceit of this game.
yeah.
I built this game for a 52 card contest. So
Oh, interesting. Okay,
that's why it has all of those. That's why it's a single deck of cards.
okay, that makes sense.
I totally forgot that
That
about
makes
this because
sense.
it's
Yeah. And
been a
there's nothing
while,
wrong with
but
that. You don't need
yeah.
to go away from that just because that was your
Mhm.
original constraint. You don't actually have to remove that constraint just because you've made it
Yeah.
that way for a contest.
Hmm.
Design constraints are great, I think. So
Yeah.
keep it that way, unless you have a really compelling reason to go away from that.
Yeah.
But overall, I think there's something cool under there. I just need to know at a glance what can I do and what's the effect of it with
Sure.
clear, consistent language or icons.
Yeah.
And yeah, overall, I liked it. There's 2 different kinds of invaders. Um, there's like a little bit of sauce going on. Obviously, you can delve in and really get a little bit more interesting with certain abilities and whatever. But as far as like a basic concept, I think it's good, man. I'd like to play it
Mhm.
with consistent language or icons
Okay.
to see what I actually think about the gameplay
All
more.
right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this
Fair,
does
fair.
have some hilarious similarities to After the Empire, actually.
Does it really?
Yeah, I mean it's a
That's
very
funny.
different game, of course, but like
Yeah.
just some pretty funny similarities. Um, but yeah, like the whole, I do think that beginning phase where everything is face down doesn't really add to the game. Like I don't know why they
Okay.
start face down.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't seem to really do anything.
Yeah,
But
yeah. That I actually have been thinking that like that phase plus because then I mean you would reduce the complexity of this game a lot by just having a intrude invade
yeah,
phase, right?
exactly.
Like or whatever, however you
Yeah,
want to call it.
intrude, deal out
Oh,
intruders.
yeah. Alert phase and intrude phase.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I got. Any other?
Cool.
Chris says, "Oh shoot, I had us starting in 20 minutes.
Oh,
Sorry, man. I hate time zones."
okay. Yeah, yeah, because 10. Okay, he must be 2 hours different than we thought or something.
Yeah. Well, let's see how long his game is, and maybe he can take my thing.
Yeah, if it's
Because we're an hour in.
mhm,
So if he's got a short game, then maybe we can
mhm.
still swing it.
Yeah, I think so. Cool. Well, thanks for playing my game, Evan.
Yeah, dude. Of course. So what we like to do on this channel is ask what feedback kind of stuck with you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I would say you know, one thing that I've been thinking about with this game, because I've only played it a handful of times,
Yeah.
I think is the tension builds very slowly with the increasing baddies.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Mhm.
I do like how like towards the end of the game, there's like a frantic sort of push.
Yeah.
I kind of like that feeling. I
Right.
would like to have a little bit of that throughout the whole game.
Okay.
So I think maybe there's something to be done to like increase the difficulty
Yeah.
early in the game. Yeah, it is yeah, that's right, Sam. It's a Jack design. Yes. It's very, very early concept. But yeah, so that's one thing that I noticed as we were playing. I'm kind of like thinking about logging in my head.
Yeah.
But the main thing, yeah, the main things I noticed were the same things you noticed, Evan, where I'm like, got to clean up the language, like make clear what, I mean, it's difficult for me as the designer to like adjudicate the rules based on
Right.
what I've written. So like, okay, I've
Right.
got a problem. So that was clear to me. But the thing I was probably thinking the most about, and that your feedback really strikes with me, is reducing and clarifying the action steps. So
Yeah.
like putting those things together so that it's clear what the triggers are, and kind of I think cleaning up the language, but I think even more so reducing the language, like reducing the options for actions.
Yeah.
I think you have in this game, what do you have? Five options for actions.
Bark, chase, dig,
If you have
watch.
if you have more
Which I
than,
still forget what that does.
I know, yeah, like that.
Oh,
I was
that's
like,
look underneath. I would ditch watch, frankly.
get rid of that. Get rid
Yeah.
of the like
I would get rid of the
reveal
face
phase.
down and the watch.
So you just go to a 2-phase game with 4 actions. You already have a much simpler game. It's
Yeah.
much simpler to explain, much simpler to understand.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's good. I think that'll be,
you can even have cards that let you, peek at the top of the decks or whatever and still have that mechanism
sure.
in there, but without it being one of your base actions, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It could be a gear like binoculars or whatever.
Sure, it could affect the goodie deck. It could be
Yeah.
like a sniff action or something where you search, you can find what you're looking for,
I would ditch the action
or
and just
something.
have
I
it
don't
be
know.
a special ability on a card.
Yes, yeah, like either an asymmetric ability or a helper.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, yeah, I think those are the things I'm thinking about the most.
Yeah.
Reducing the complexity.
Totally.
Yeah. So
Totally. Hey,
that's it for me.
Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hello.
Can you
Good
hear
evening.
us? Good evening.
Yes, I can hear you.
/ good morning.
Yeah. It is 5:43 a.m. here.
Oh my
in
goodness.
England, and
Nice.
I had us starting in 17 minutes.
Uh-huh.
So I apologize
That's all
for
good.
messing up time zones.
We've all done it. It's all good.
Freaking hate time zones, man.
Why can't it just be one time?
Well, it's a funny thing. So the U.S. military, you guys may know this. The U.S. military has a thing called Zulu time. So when they say it's 0400 Zulu time, it's the same time anywhere in the world. That might be dinner time for you. That might be middle of the night for someone else. But when I say 0400 Zulu time, that is the same time anywhere in the world.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
And it's just one of those things where it's done. They figured this out, but because because people are so used to thinking of time as this linear thing that travels
every
day.
It's always dinner at 6.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
and
very interesting.
People get so used to this like 9 to 5 sort of thing. They get comfort from that. So yeah. Anyways, let me get the server up here. And again, I apologize so much for being late.
That's all good. While you pull that up, we'll just Jack, was there any last minute stuff you wanted to say about? We just finished playing one of his little card games.
Yeah, we played a game that I hacked together called Intruder Alert, about dogs defending your yard. So
nice.
That's so that was fun. I think the only thing I would say is thanks, Evan. I appreciate your feedback.
Yeah, of course,
man. I think all of this stuff is really good, simple. When you're at this stage of a design, it's macro changes like that will drive the design forward. And I think, got a very clear path with that, which is like clarify the actions, describe exactly what they are, and reduce the actions in the turn sequence. Play that. That's the very next iteration of this game to me.
Yeah.
Just see if I can tighten up that core loop by reducing that, and then refine that core action mechanism.
Totally.
So, yep,
cool. And then bring it back on. We'll play it again.
Yeah, we'll do.
Cool. Well, welcome everyone to the 38th episode of Playtest This, where we have got a potentially stuck Chris Backe. I don't know. Looks like his internet went out.
Ooh.
Yeah, I may have to turn a camera here. Doom and this are both when it comes to
Oh, there he is.
Just a little jumbled.
all right.
There
Turning
we go.
off.
Oh, Zoom and TTS are doing this.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna turn off camera.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. But the server is up
Okay.
for this. It's gonna be Smite and Chris. Smite for the password. And yeah, Smite for the server and Chris for the password.
Caps.
All lowercase.
Oops.
Smite.
I did it
Smite,
wrong.
Chris.
I did it wrong. There we go. No,
Sweet.
there we go.
Tonight on
Nice.
typing is hard.
Yeah.
Totally is. There we go.
Okay, well, then... Chris, I'm excited to have you on this channel. It's good to see your face finally after interacting with you online.
I know. It's great to see you, buddy.
Hey, Jack, do you have Eric on Facebook Messenger?
Oh, let me see if I do.
Will you shoot him the link to jump on? He might want to jump on.
Eric, what's your last name? Ledger?
Ledger. Ledger.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, I'm going to be...
I do.
Red.
Okay, where is the link? It's in Facebook on the thing. I'm doing the thing that you do now, Evan, all the time. It's in the thing at the place with the thing.
In the stuff, you know, with the between the two things. Yeah.
There's a thing
in
with
the
the thing and the stuff in the place.
This is the 2020s version of if you hit the Facebook Messenger, you've gone too far. Sort of thing.
Yeah.
So send him that, and then we'll see if he joins up.
Okay.
But in the meantime, welcome, Chris.
Sure. Yeah. Great to have you guys. Thanks for letting me on.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So in the interest of time, I'm going to present this as a 3-round demo of a 7-round game. Cool. At your discretion, we can continue playing, but 3 rounds has been more than enough for feedback and so on.
Why don't you give the folks at home a little intro about you and what you've done in the industry, how they might know you, and
sure.
Then,
Sure. So I'm Chris Backe. My last name rhymes with hockey. I like long walks on the beach. Now, I've been a game designer since 2016. I have 16 signed games at the moment. We published Spies last year as a crowdfunded print and play. So that was part of No Box Games, and that's basically print and plays, no assembly required. I have a number of games in development. I'm originally from the Chicago area, and I'm currently based in Birmingham, England. So really looking forward to UKGE coming up soon.
Awesome.
Nice.
When not making games, I co-created Virtual Playtesting, which helps to playtest people's games Mondays and Thursdays here in the UK. And yeah, I've just gotten busy with a whole bunch of other projects. I also run tabletoppublishers.com, which is like a big database of publishers to help designers pitch their games correctly.
I've heard very good things about that.
Thank you very much. Not just spray and pray emails, but send it out correct, personalize every pitch, helps you research and sort, search, filter.
Yeah.
But
What was the name of that website again?
That is tabletoppublishers.com.
Cool. Yep.
Yeah. And so thank you. So the game I have here today is called Smite, and aiming for a Gateway Plus deck builder with some dudes on a map, some area control. And in the game, you are all Greek gods. You are enjoying the good life up in the Pantheum, the realm of the gods. Now, the Pantheon is where the Greek people go to worship the gods, but the Pantheum is where you actually live. That's the realm of the gods. So we'll have mortals approaching us with their various requests, and if we spend energy to help them, we'll get to add them as followers to our deck. But more on that in a second. First thing to do is if everyone would please draw 2 cards from this God's deck.
Just really quick, Chris, what was the password for the server?
Oh, password is Chris, all lowercase.
Okay.
Hi,
Hey,
Eric,
Eric.
by the way.
Hey, Eric.
Hey.
Both acknowledging your presence.
Oh, no, that's all right.
Hey, do you want to introduce yourself really quick while we're on? Eric?
Yeah, just really quick. Eric Ledger here. I'm a hobbyist game designer. My main job is administrative law judge by day and a hobbyist by night. So, and I also am the organizer for the Sacramento Board Game Designers meetup. So if anybody's in the Sacramento area, free, you can find us off meetup.org. So there you go.
Awesome.
Nice.
Cool. Thanks. I'm glad you could jump on.
Eric's game is also God's themed.
Oh yeah.
And
All right,
Jack's
so-
game is also picking up followers. Okay, anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I love it. Okay, so in the interest of time and in the interest of respecting that, I'll step back to let you guys play. I will be here to observe and assist. And Eric, if you want to take over blue for me. Perfect. Okay, so each of you has 2 God cards in your hand. This is just part of setup. And the only thing that's really different here is going to be the bottom 2/3 or so.
Okay.
You'll see a little guy with some stars above his head. That's going to be a special, unique
I see.
power only your god will have. You'll also see the numbers by the actions. Basically, every god's going to have a different starting deck. So if you want to get strategic about this, feel free to have a look at that. Otherwise, just pick one that sounds like more fun.
And then just get rid of the other one.
Exactly. So whichever god you want, just put it in the big white space in front of you, face up.
I've always been a fan of Athena, so
Yeah.
There you go.
this is who I'm gonna be.
There you go. Perfect. Okay, so looks like we're gonna have Hera in the game. Here, there you go. We got Hera, we've got Athena, and we've got Hermes. Perfect.
You would
So-
be Hermes.
And they've all got some amazing powers that I'm really looking forward to here. So towards the bottom of each of your god cards here, we're going to see the 4 numbers there representing the 4 main actions in the game.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about them in a second, but first let's assemble our decks.
Yeah.
So Hermes,
Yeah.
you're going to get to take 3 move cards from the move deck here. All of these piles have identical cards. So you want 3 move cards, 3 place cards, 1 exile card, and so on. Not the whole thing there.
Well, I
There you
grabbed
go.
all of them.
It's okay. Look, sometimes you just want all the cards. It's probably easier to do this. There we go. And you need 3 of them. So 2, 3.
Wait, how come I only have 2 of those?
Easy enough. There you go. There's 6. So
Oh,
yeah,
see, Jack, people are grabbing my cards.
I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't you,
Operation
sorry.
Cooperation. All good.
Oh,
Okay. And then I boom. And then I boom. Okay.
yeah, there we go.
Okay.
So I should have 8 card deck.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And I'm gonna add 1 more card to your pile. This is the special, unique that is. This is the same text here as it is on your card there. So this is 1 special asymmetric card that starts in your deck as well, making your deck start to 9 cards.
Cool.
And There you go. And we'll just put your deck in the one of the spaces here. So flip that face down and give it a shuffle. Okay, so in 2 minutes here, we have just set up a special, unique, asymmetric deck for each player based on the god that you chose. Rocket science.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's talk about those actions real quick. At the bottom of your reference card, if you want to follow along home, I'm looking at yellow's Athena cards here. On the move cards, basically the move is going to let you move your mortals to an adjacent region. And these will make more sense in a minute, and I'll go over them again in a second. But moving just lets you move mortals, and the card says 2x, which means you can move 2 mortals 1 space, or 1 mortal 2 spaces, whatever boats you float. The mortals are going to be our pawns, and the followers are going to be our cards. So they're both things that help you, but one type of resource moves on the map, and then one of them is the deck that you're assembling. The place a mortal where you have a mortal, it's just going to be, placing mortal. Your mortals are creating life in the classic way to say that. When you exile one opponent's mortal, you're moving them to any other space on the map. You're not removing them from the map, just moving them to any other space on the map. And then when you add, move, or remove a temple, everyone starts the game with 2 temples of their color, and these are going to give you more opportunities to score points. So adding, moving, or removing are great ways to help yourself, hurt others, that sort of thing. And then the Smite actions, the 2 actions with hammers at the bottom, they don't start in your deck, but you'll get to take them as you play based on cards you get. Smite lets you remove either hand cards from the game, like you just trash it because this is a deck builder, or you remove a mortal from the board. So someone's pawn is in the way and you don't like them, smite them, get them off the board.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Questions so far?
Not for me.
No, sounds good so
It
far.
always takes me until I actually play to figure it out.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and I recognize that I probably need to do this in a slightly better order here. But
That's okay.
so as part of setup, we're going to actually assemble the world that we are about to create here. So I've laid out on the table 1 shape of tile per player. There's 1 big one, 1 medium, 1 small one. And what we'll do here is I'm going to flip them up. And players, go ahead and assemble these however you like. My only real rule here is that each tile needs to touch at least 2 other tiles, and no tile can touch the same type of tile.
Oh.
So this is day 1 of the creation myth, and the Greek gods created the heavens and the earth or something. There you go. Maybe that can move over here.
Can this move that way?
Here,
So
wait,
that you
get
have
this out of here.
touching
Bring this
2.
guy in here.
Yeah, there we go.
Can't touch that one.
Oh, okay.
It
Flippy,
has. They
Can
have
we-
to be touching.
Can we
Flippy
play the
Floppy
Tetris theme
needs
while we do
to-
this?
Wait, oh.
This is
No.
kind of a meta game for some folks.
Okay, and then this goes up to the top. And
Oh,
this
the
comes-
woods.
Oh, wait, you're messing me up.
Here we
You're
go.
messing me up.
It's
Here,
fine.
if we put that there, and then if we put this, yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna move this. I'm just gonna make an executive decision here. There we go. And
Unacceptable.
that's gonna be a good sort of legal placement there. Excellent. Okay. So as you're noting on the regions here, each region has different numbers of spaces. Each circular space holds 1 of your mortals. The small ones have 5 spaces, the mediums have 7, and the large spaces have 9. And just to go over those actions again, when you're moving a mortal, and so your mortal might start here, movement within the region isn't really needed. So when you're moving a mortal, you're just moving them from one region to another. like so. And if I can move 2 mortals, I can move 1 mortal and then a second mortal, or I can move the same mortal 2 times as I like with the move cards. When you place a mortal, you're always placing a mortal where you already have a mortal, because mortals don't create life halfway around the world. They create life where they are. So if I already have a mortal here, I can place a mortal there on the same space. And in a moment, we'll seed the board with some life to begin with. And again, when you exile an opponent's mortal, you are moving them to any other region on the map. And this is always opponent's mortals that you're exiling, never your own. And of course, when you build a temple, you're going to be building a temple on the borders between 2 regions. And so this is one example of how this might look. I might put my temple here on the border between these 2 regions here. So this temple is essentially going to double the number of points my mortals are worth in these 2 regions when they score. And that also means if you have 2 temples, you're doubling the double. So each mortal is potentially worth quadruple points. This is harder to do, and it may not happen without some serious effort, but definitely possible.
What is the scoring? How does it score?
Great question. Glad you asked.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you win by having the most points. Each round, we're going to have a card that looks like this. And this card is going to have 2 of the 5 possible regions in the game. This one says grass and desert. So for this, at the end of this round, we'll be scoring, or we would be scoring, all of the grasses and all of the deserts. This is how you know we're recording live, because I did not change or alter the setup in any way. We've only got 4 of the 5 regions. One of them is missing, so that's just a thing we won't be scoring. But at the end of every round, you'll know exactly which 2 types of regions you're scoring. And when you score points, you're going to score 1 point for every mortal in a scoring region. And every temple, if you have a temple on a border of that scoring region, that mortal is worth double points. So with 1 temple on this border, that mortal is worth 2 points.
Cool.
Okay.
Is there a maximum of 1 temple on a border, or can we double up, or can multiple players have temples?
So maximum 1 temple per border, or per side of the border. So I can only put 1 here. I could not put a second tile. No one can put a second temple on the same board. I'm going to shrink these down in a second.
Can you play this way? Can you do this?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
That'd be legal.
That's legal. Okay.
It's legal.
It's legal. Yeah, exactly. That's
legal.
Eric
that must
knows
be
what we're talking about.
That must be the Seattle way of talking, right? It's legal. It's like the Chicago way, but less. Yeah. Okay. So what you're going to be doing as you're playing, you'll also have the opportunity to get quests, and a quest card is going to look like this. And a quest card can be purchased by sacrificing or trashing one of the cards from your hand that you play. Now, what's important here, again, you're trashing it, so it is going out of your deck. You're sending this mortal on a quest, in the words of that famous philosopher, Lord Farquaad. Some of you may die, but this is a risk I'm willing to take.
Nice.
If you have completed the quest, you'll score the points in the star. And that's really, hopefully the quests themselves are self-explanatory. This one just says have 3 or more mortals in 2 regions. So yeah.
When do they score? At the end of the round, or do you just play them?
They'll score during a scoring phase. So you'll collect them during the first phase, the action phase, and then if you've scored them during the scoring phase, you'll score the points and discard the quest. I'm just going to move these down a little bit to make some room for the cards here. Okay, so the mortals that are going to come out of this deck are going to cost energy to purchase or acquire. Thematically speaking, these are mortals that have come to you. They've approached you with their various requests, and if you give them energy to help them with their plight, they will join your following, which means they will go to the top of your deck. So unlike most deck builders, in this game, the followers you get go to the top of your deck. They will definitely be in your hand on the next round. Okay.
Sweet.
So if I were to acquire this card and use them, I'll be able to move some mortals and smite a mortal. So the cards you start with only give you one action at a time. The cards you acquire, actions. Okay. Excellent. So we're going to give that a shuffle here, and so go ahead and draw. Actually, no. Let's do a little bit more setup here. So if who's going to be our first player? Who most looks like a god?
Ooh, that's definitely Eric.
I don't know. Really quick, I know you said we're only going to play 3 rounds, but just out of curiosity, what is the end game condition? Is it a set number of rounds? Is it a set score? Yeah. Okay.
It's so a full game is 7 rounds.
Okay.
And that's constant, not based on the number of players. It's just 7 rounds. So our this is our first player marker here.
I want to push the button.
You want to push it? It does look like a button.
It is a button.
Hey, Jackbox has a great game for that, actually. So in turn order, I'd like you each to add 3 of your pawns, 3 mortals, to different regions, please.
Do we get to know the scoring condition for the first round?
No, we don't. And this is intentional. I want you to do this kind of randomly without that strategic intent.
Is can you explain energy to me? Where is it?
Sure. So on a card, energy is in the top left corner of your starting cards and the cards you can buy. This is
so you can spend cards for energy, or you can use them for actions.
Exactly. So you have each card can be used for their energy or their action, one or the other, but not both.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna take actions and then you'll do your buy phase.
Yep. Gotcha.
Does he place all 3 at once and then we place our 3?
That's correct. Yeah. So
it seemed like
yellow
he was cheating, but I just wanted to make sure.
Nah, that's fine. Now, yeah. So yellow. One of your choices here is: do you want to go into different regions? Do you want to try to compete with these? Again, this is not meant to be super strategic, but just you can make this decision of: do you want to get in someone's face early, or do you want to start in your own areas? But this is you seeding life, and that's a perfectly legit decision.
I want to create the opportunity to get into somebody's face.
There you go.
Not necessarily be there.
All right. Excellent. All right. So that is the setup of the game ready to go. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do to finish things out here, I'm going to lay out 5 mortal cards and 3 quest cards. I'm going to need a bigger table here, I think. This is just what happens when you try to put everything in the regular table here. Okay, so at the end of this round, so again, a full game is 7 rounds. That's perfect. Thank you. So a full game is 7 rounds. We have 10 scoring cards here, and most of the time, a region will score 2 times and sometimes 3. It might score 1. It might score 3 times, but it usually scores twice in a game. So at the end of this round, we are going to be scoring the volcanoes, the one that's missing, and the deserts. At the end of the following round, we'll be scoring the grass and the deserts. So you can kind of see what's coming up as well. You do have a bit of strategic horizon here. Okay. So everyone, go ahead and draw.
You're killing it.
Go ahead and draw 5. Go ahead and draw 5 cards into your hand, please. Okay. So as you're looking at your cards, you are about to be able to, you're going to choose basically how many cards you want to play. And once everyone's ready, you're going to take turns in order of the energy in your hand. So we're not necessarily going in turn order, but the first player does serve as kind of a tiebreaker. So there are for the sake of strategy, I'll say that there are benefits of going first and there are benefits of going last. this market, or rather these markets of followers and quests, do not refill until the start of the next round. So what you're doing right now is basically choosing which cards do you want to play, and if you want to play them, keep them in your hand. If you would rather go later in the turn order, or if you don't want to play them, discard them now.
Yeah, and the ones we're discarding we will use for energy.
The ones that you're discarding now will not be used this turn. So on your turn, you'll get to play the cards for their energy to buy more cards, or for their actions, but not both.
Why would I discard? Sorry.
So basically, we're going to take turns in order from highest energy to lowest energy. So the person that is playing the lowest energy gets to go last, and that there can be strategic reasons for wanting to do that.
Well, let's just play. I don't know if I get it yet. That's fine.
Okay, yeah, that's totally fine. And it's also totally fine to just to play all 5 of your cards.
I'll do that.
But if anyone would like to go last, again, there are strategic advantages to going last, because you'll have the chance to do things without other people messing you up.
So we just choose the cards to play and then we play them later.
Yeah, you'll get to play all the cards in your hand in a minute. But if anyone is discarding cards, now is the time to do that. Once everyone's done, just say how much energy you have in your hand. Just total up all the energy in the upper left corner.
Okay.
I'm
I
ready.
have 7.
8.
9.
Okay. So whoever said 9 takes the first player token.
All right, that's me.
8. Who
And
said
I
8?
had 7.
That was me.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm 3rd.
There you go. So this is just establishing turn order for this round. I'll put the 4th player out of play. Okay, so blue, what you're going to do now, you can play your cards in any order you like, and I recommend putting them in the discard pile there as you play. And that's just going to let you place 1 mortal where you have a mortal.
There we go.
Perfect. All right, next card. And again, if you want to play cards for their energy, just pop them in your discard pile, and then take the follower, put it into the top of your deck. In terms of actions that you have here, you just get more stuff to do on 1 card, meaning you can pack more stuff into 1 turn.
That sounds great for a 7-round game, but for a 3-round game, I don't
yeah.
I don't know if I want to spend it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I have to win the demo.
I mean,
Yeah, you do.
Obviously. It matters.
I played my 1 card, right?
No, you get to play all your cards.
Oh, all of them. Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't make that clear. But yeah, so as you're playing, your sequencing becomes somewhat important. The order of your operations can matter.
Yeah.
Now I understand why I would discard to try to lose, to try to change the turn order.
So that's right.
Exactly.
Exiling, I took yellow from here and moved it over here.
That's perfect, correct?
All right. Do the same thing again.
Just going all out with exiling people.
Gosh.
Let's
Get out of town.
Get out of here.
Get out of town.
Actually, hold on. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'll leave him there. I'm going to exile him over
Whoa.
Here. Okay.
And then this is place a mortal where you have a mortal.
You better look out on that. In that 3rd round, it's going to be double wheat production. You better look out.
That's going to be a move. That's a move.
Oh, that's a move?
Correct.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Move one of your mortals to adjacent region ×2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
All right.
There you go.
Come on, mountains.
You're going all in on the desert.
That's
Excellent.
And then the last one, I am smiting a mortal.
Whoa.
He's dead. Get out of here.
Whoa.
That's correct.
Insane.
There we go.
All right. Well done, sir. That's all good.
Brutal.
All right.
All
Evan.
right. Red?
My turn. I am going to place this thing here.
Perfect. Yeah. Now, one thing to remember with temples, your temples can only help you. They will never help anyone else.
Yeah, I like that. I will move 2 of my peoples. 1, 2.
Okay.
I will procreate. And
Perfect.
I will
So you're setting yourself up for the next round there, because the grass will definitely score in the following round. But this round we are scoring the deserts.
Oh, yeah. I would have put him down here then.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll still put 1 up here. Why not?
Okay.
I'm generous. Nah, I'll go to. And then I'll buy cards with these 4 points.
Okay.
I'll just take this sucker.
Perfect. And that goes to the top of your deck.
Actually, I'll take 1, 2. I don't care about moving as. Yeah, maybe I do. Whoop.
Perfect. Okay. And last but not least.
All right. I am going to. Oh, let's see. What do I want to do? I guess I want
Money. That's what I want.
I'm gonna build a temple right.
Just gonna cards in the discard pile here for you.
Hold on. No, I don't want to do that. I want to reproduce. So I'm gonna produce a guy here.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I knew I should have booted you out of there.
I'm gonna do that, and then I have 6 points that I'm gonna use to buy cards. So I'm gonna 2, 6, and I'm gonna buy.
Wow.
I want to buy the one that lets me reproduce and have a temple, and the one that lets me move people and reproduce people.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a good choice.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Awesome. So so everyone's played all of their cards. That is the end of the action phase. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, so we'll go to the scoring phase. I'll walk you through the first round here, then I'll shut up and let you guys do it on the second round. We are scoring the volcanoes and the deserts. There are no volcanoes, so no worries there. And the deserts, I see 4 mortals in this desert region. So it's going to score 4 points for blue, 1 point apiece. There are no temples on its border. There's 1 over here. Yep, so that's 5. So blue's on 5 points. I see 3 people for red down here. Each one is worth 2 points because I've got a temple on the border, so 6 points, and 1 point for yellow. You guys are good at this, so we're all good. Okay, nice. And that's scoring.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully, rocket science there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the end of the first round. As part of setting up for the next round, I'm just going to discard the followers and the quests that were not chosen. Thematically speaking, the followers that didn't get chosen, they left in disgust because none of the gods helped them, and they became atheists or something.
Please follow more ears.
Exactly. If you've seen the beginning of the new Thor movie, that also. Definitely some inspiration there. So at the end of this round, we are going to be scoring the grass and the deserts. And at the end of the following round, we're scoring the forest and the grass.
Sweet.
Okay. So draw 5 more cards into your hand. And as you already figured out, if the cards you have purchased should be in your hand now.
Mhm.
And then when we run out,
Yeah.
we flip, shuffle.
Yeah, correct. Classic deck building rules.
Yeah, okay.
And then we compare energy to determine who's the first.
Well, it's not necessarily just compare energy in hand. Remember that you can discard cards from your hand as you like
Mhm.
to help manipulate your order. It is the total number of energy we're comparing. But hypothetically, let's say if you wanted to go last, you might choose to discard more or specific cards.
Sure.
I discard none.
Yeah, same here.
Same.
Cool.
Okay, if no one's
got
discarding, go ahead and say your energy.
10.
11.
7.
Okay.
Alrighty.
10, 11,
Okay.
and 7. Perfect. Okay. And for what it's worth, if there were ties in energy, the person that would go first would be the person closest to the first player in clockwise order, and that does rotate every round.
Okay.
There's no ties yet, so it doesn't matter, but just to keep up decorum and whatever.
Decorum.
Okay, sir.
All right, so I'm gonna do this. Can reproduce where I have mortals
Correct.
twice.
Nice.
So I'm gonna do that, and then I can place a temple, and I'm gonna place a temple right there on that border.
You just did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Just to block you.
Yes.
That's yeah. Now, definitely worth remembering the Greek gods loved screwing with each other almost as much as they love screwing with the mortals below. So that's hopefully represented here in the game as well.
So now I get to when I have a multiple action, does it need to be done in order?
You can take the actions in any order. The only real rule here is that you have to finish all of the actions on one card before starting with the next card.
Gotcha.
So you could, and you can also kind of break these up if you want. You could move one place and then continue moving.
I gotcha. So I'll produce one guy here, and then I'll move 3 into
nice.
And then I will exile. This is moving one from one area to another.
That's moving an opponent's piece to anywhere else on the map.
Anywhere else on the map. Okay, I'm gonna move one of Eric's guys over here.
Nice.
And
symbolically in the corner.
Yeah, I'm pushing him as far away as possible.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
I just did. Okay, so now I'm going to reproduce. I'm going to create another guy. Why not? I'll do it in the grass.
Yeah.
Grassland, and then I can move. So I'm going to move a guy here. And I'm going to move one of my guys here in the grass as well.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. So go ahead and discard your cards.
Okay.
And red.
Red. Well. I'm going to place 2 mortals.
Oh, sorry. You're good.
Into
any region. Correct. And because you're Hermes, you're the god of travel. So that's just easy for you.
And then I will reproduce.
Chris, do I need to play a Smite card to use a quest card? Or does playing a quest card require a Smite action?
So in order to buy a quest card, you have to trash one of your hand cards.
Okay, that's what that
basically.
means.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically the hammer is just a symbol that something is about to go away.
Actually,
what goes away is the symbol next to it.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm going to not do these ones yet. First, I'm going to do this one.
All right.
I'm going to go 1.
That is the loneliest number.
And then I will reproduce twice.
Yep.
In here. Then I will reproduce reproduce.
You're just going whole hog on the desert there.
And then
Yeah.
I will reproduce.
Wow.
Perfect.
And then
Yeah.
I will buy the only card I can buy.
Nice.
Perfect. All right. Excellent. Go on, blue.
Okay, I'm going to place my 2 temples.
Mhm.
To go with those cards.
Yeah. Now, one thing to remember with the temple action, and you can retcon this if you want, that action lets you add, move, or remove a temple, and that's anyone's temple. It does not necessarily just have to be your own.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I will note asterisk on
yeah.
the win because you were coached by the game designer.
No, that's true. I am gonna take both of
There
those
you go.
away.
Just take them both
of
away.
ours. Wow.
Asterisk on
Wow.
the win.
Rule.
Uh,
Now you're
I
playing like a
will-
Greek god.
I will
Is
spawn a guy. Oh,
Is asterisk on the win? Is asterisk on the win like a flag on the play?
Yeah. Well, it's like he
Okay.
might
And
win the
then-
game, but it wasn't fair.
I'm gonna
Yeah, well,
spend.
You know,
I'm gonna spend my last 4 energy. I'm gonna buy this card.
that's a good card.
Perfect.
That's a good
And that
card.
goes on
Yeah,
the
I
top
like
of your
that one.
deck.
That's a good card.
Okay.
There you go. And I'm
Great.
done.
All right.
Tell
So
me
that's
score.
the end of the action phase. So we go to scoring now, and again we're scoring the grass and the dead this round.
Well,
so I'll
there's
step
only
back.
one grass.
Only one grass, and yellow is just dominating that.
Yeah, so I got 6 points.
Yeah.
5 for the grass
I
and then 1
got
for the
1,
desert.
2, 3, 4,
Correct.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I go to
Perfect.
16.
I've
Yep.
got
Wow.
5.
You got 5.
Yes, I got
5
a 10.
points.
There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Again, rocket science. Okay. That's the end of round 2. Go ahead, draw back up to 3 cards. I'll reset up here.
3 or 5.
I'm sorry, 5 cards. 5 cards.
Okay. I was like, did I cheat last round?
Yeah. No, I was saying one
How did I
thing and
do
then
so
thinking I should
well?
do something else. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Let's
even
get,
look at the quests. How do you feel?
It's
quests?
okay. In order to take a quest, you have to trash a hand card from the game.
Okay.
So this is basically your deck thinning mechanism.
Cool.
But along the way, you get good stuff.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I think of the quests more as a medium term or a long term goal. And I get that I'm throwing a lot at you. This is a Gateway Plus sort of game, so I don't expect I don't usually see a lot of quests purchased in the first couple rounds of someone's first play. So we'll end the demo after this round, and at the end of this round, we're scoring the forests and the grass. And if you want to play like we're continuing, we would be scoring the forests and the volcanoes in the following round. So understand that the forest would have a slightly higher benefit. Yeah. So again, feel free to discard any cards you don't want to play in order to try to manipulate the turn order.
Nope.
I'm keeping my cards.
7.
I'm keeping all my cards too. So I've got 12.
11.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, so I move first. I
You're
am
first,
going
sir.
to I am going to trash a card to gain a quest card.
Okay.
Now, does this
So I'm
quest
just
card go in my hand?
Good question. So when you get a quest card, it's going to go face up in front of you,
Oh, okay.
and this can be filled at any time during the game.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's not something it does not expire, basically.
Okay. So I'll do that. I'm also gonna pay a card to gain a card. I know it's the end of the demo, but just in case,
Yes.
you never know. So
There
I'm
you
gonna
go.
take this one.
Perfect.
Then I'm going to we're doing forest and
Forest and grass.
Roasting grass.
So yellow's got a
Fine.
monopoly on the grassland right now, which means I'm not saying you should, but if you wanted to get into that grassland, you're going to have to do some exiling or some smiting because yellow's got that locked down.
Yeah, I'm gonna place 2 mortals, which accomplishes my quest. So do I immediately get those victory points?
So you'll score the quests during the scoring phase, which means your
Okay,
guys
okay,
have to
gotta wait.
survive to
Yeah,
the scoring
gotcha.
phase.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'll place those guys and I'm placing a temple right
Perfect.
there.
Might survive.
Then I'm going
Might survive.
to
They might
move
survive.
move 3 guys, reproduce. So I'm going to, is it move 1 guy to 1 adjacent region?
So with this 3 move, you can move 3 different mortals 1 space. You could move 1 mortal 3 spaces,
Okay.
or any combination you like.
Okay, gotcha. So I can do this where I go 1,
Mhm.
2.
Correct?
I can do that.
Yeah, it's always up to 3, not exactly 3.
Okay. Did I do my reproduce yet? I don't think I did.
No, you didn't.
No. Okay. So
Yeah, and obviously this desert region is full, so you could not reproduce here. But if you
Yeah.
moved them first and then
I
reproduced,
see. Okay. I think I want to do this in a different order then. I want to
Right
do
on.
this. I want to smite a mortal where I have a mortal, then place a mortal there. So I'm going to get rid of one of Evan's mortals and place one of my
Nice.
mortals here.
Perfect.
Then I'm going to move. And then I'm going to move the guys. So I'm going to move 1, 2 to get up to the forest here.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to move this guy just to this grassland.
Perfect.
Okay.
I love how you said, "I'm going to kill you. Bye."
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep. And then I'm going to leave.
I see why you left so fast. Excellent. All right, Blue.
Okay, I'm gonna smite a mortal, place a mortal. That one's going away.
Hmm.
Put him there. Then I'm going to smite 2 mortals and
Wow.
Here.
Fancy.
These 2 are going away.
The double scoring mortals get out of here.
Ouch. Well, that also killed my quest.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm gonna play Immortal.
Yowza.
Then I've got, well,
Exile.
I would probably play my 2 exile cards differently if it weren't the last round, but let's exile some people. I guess, yeah, we'll exile him there. And he can go over here too.
All right.
There we go. Done.
They have been yeeted. I think that's what the cool kids say. Yeet. Bye.
Done.
Go ahead, Red.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Yikes! I do not have a good hand. I'm gonna go 1, 2.
Mm-hmm. No. Real quick, you got produce action here.
Oh, whoops. And then okay, I'll produce 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yoink. What? Yoink. Yoink. And then I will move 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go 1, 2.
Perfect.
And then I will ditch this card to grab this scoring card, because I think I have
Perfect.
that actually, right?
So that says have mortals in 6 adjacent regions. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
Nice. Adjacent was a bit of a question there. Contiguous.
Yeah.
Is more
Contiguous, sure.
probably accurate. Okay.
That's fair.
And then I'll put out my last guy in a region that's going to score.
Now, see, you said you had a bad hand, but you just did a boss move there.
I
You
don't
scored
know.
14 points on a quest,
I don't know.
and then carefully spread your guys around.
I don't
I
know.
think that was a pretty bold move there. You
I
did
don't know.
fine.
So then
Yeah.
I get 4 points, and Evan gets 30 points.
I got 8
I don't
points.
get 30. I get just the 5 plus the 14, so 19. So 19.
16
goes-
and 19 is gonna be 35.
35.
16 and 19 is 35. I don't do math. Okay.
It's okay. Yeah, it's all set up in tens.
Yeah, I
So
don't-
okay. Yeah, so we'll pause the demo there. As you can kind of guess, now that we're in kind of the mid game, red has no more pawns to place, so like this become less useful.
Right.
They might still be helpful because cards can be smote,
Oh, yeah.
or mortals can be smote, but choosing to smite a card like this to get a 14-point quest was a great move. It's a card that's less useful to you in the mid to late game, and also just 14 points is a lot in this game.
Yeah.
And of course, once you've completed the quests, you put them out of play. We'd reset for the next round, and after 7 rounds, the game ends. But yeah, I think you guys have a really solid idea of how the game plays. So thank you so much for giving this a go, and thank you for your time. Let me start with a winner. Red, comments, thoughts, feedback? What comes to mind?
No, I like to go last.
Oh, okay. All right. In that case,
Sandbag.
Sandbag. Okay, we'll just go clockwise from you then, Blue.
I lost. I hate it. No, I'm just kidding. No.
This game sucks.
I think it's pretty solid. It was funny though, when you told me about removing the temples, I had written down as a side note, why would I ever want to remove one of a temple? And then I realized it was for removing opponent's temples.
Yeah.
So that question was answered. I don't have a whole lot of critiquing on this. I think it's mostly going to be positive comments. I mean, I want to play it again. I want to keep playing out the full game. The only other kind of little thought that I had that might be interesting, I don't know if you've tried it in playtesting, is if I put one of my temples here, maybe I can get points off my opponents as well. I don't know. It was just
so actually, in a previous version, the temples were universal. So they were all one color, and they would help anyone whoever controlled a region controlled the temples. And what that led to was some individual spending for potentially someone else's gain. So I wanted to change that to where the temples were your temples, however you design them, whether they're of a certain type, whatever, but you spend the time and effort to get the temple, and then you get the gain for that. So being able to move or remove someone else's temple is a kind of another fun part of that.
Nice. Yeah, it felt like a finished game to me.
Hey.
I'll let you move on. I don't really have anything negative to say or much in the way of constructive criticism.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for playing, buddy.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Yellow, you know what to do. Comments, thoughts, feedback? What comes to mind, sir?
Okay, so here's what I would say, Chris. I like this game. I think I had a lot of fun. I wanted to play more, just like Eric said. I'm kind of like, oh, the demo's over. Bummer. I would like to play more rounds. And but here are 2 concerns that I have at the game state where it currently is. Do I have a chance? I mean, it really doesn't seem like it. I mean, we play 4 more rounds, but is there a runaway leader or kingmaker thing here where it's you start ahead, you stay ahead?
That's a good question. The simple answer is I don't think so. Part of what might have been challenging is just, red got a lot of stuff here to kind of get away with here. And one thing that can easily happen is anyone that's behind can easily begin to tag team up on the leader here to kind of pull them down a bit.
Sure, I was
so-
thinking that. I was like, is there a social engineering piece to this where really the catch-up mechanism is you must work with other people to say like, hey, Evan's getting ahead, we need to smite him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's also thematic to the idea of Greek gods, because at some point, you know, one god would get too powerful, the others had to take him down a notch.
Cool.
What also can happen?
Go ahead.
What can also happen is that, like, sometimes you'll spend the early turns to get a lot of cards. So, like, if I recall correctly, you spend
I did buy 2 cards early.
So so you have more good cards in your deck. So that's kind of a short-term loss, long-term gain sort of strategy.
Sure. Yes. No, that totally makes sense. I would have liked to see personally. I am behind. Do I get some small benefit between rounds to keep me engaged? What if I don't? What if people aren't friendly with me? You know, what if they're like, I don't care that you're in last place, I'm not going to help you. You know, I'm just competing with Eric. I would like to see some sort of mitigation to that. Just if the only chance to catch up is you better play better and you better get people to work with you, I would like to see some sort of mitigation for that. Or some sort of boost to a lagging player, especially a severely lagging player. What keeps me engaged round 6 and 7? I could see this really drifting off away from me. So that was one thing that concerned me. In an otherwise pretty solid game in a lot of ways. The other major constructive thing that I would say is the art as is, and the way that the board is constructed in player setup, and the way that it's like resource scoring made me think that this game didn't make me feel like a Greek god, but more like a Roman, like city leader. Like I'm like, oh, I'm building a city, but I'm not. I'm a Greek god and I'm smiting people and pushing followers away and gaining followers. And as I play this game, that's how I feel. And that's good, because that's what the game is advertised as a game where I'm a Greek god smiting people and gaining followers and fighting with other gods. And that feels very cool. But the way that the art and the map construction happens and setup makes me feel like that's not what I'm doing when I first start playing the game. So I would like to see that theme like come out from the very get-go with the teach, with the setup, with the art and graphic design. So that we can get to you're a Greek god smiting people very quickly, and you feel that energy from the beginning of the game.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely wanted to ensure that the board state always changed, and that initially meant modular tiles that could be moved around. I did consider having just place the tiles more or less at random. That definitely created zones that were just better or easier. Yeah. One playtester actually suggested, well, we are gods. What if we just create the world? And then from there, it became kind of obvious that either one person creates it or everyone has a go at creating things. Do you think you would prefer like cutting that phase out altogether, or shortening that phase in some way, or just having a static board?
Well, for one thing is, could you make that less of a collaborative thing and more of a competitive thing? Where I would like to see more structure in that phase, because it was clunky for us. Like we were like moving things around. But if it's like, okay, you have turn order in the creation phase, you place a tile, place a guy on that tile. You place a tile, place a guy on that tile. You place a tile, move a guy, or place it, something like that. That makes it add some competitive interest to that phase, so that I feel like I'm a Greek god competing against other Greek gods from the setup.
I like it.
Something like that. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how to do that, but I think that would get you away from like, oh, is this a city? Is this like a Sim City where I'm a god, I'm a detached entity, or is this I'm an entity who's involved in like smiting people, and that's really what the game feels like as you're playing it. So
exactly,
and it's a cool feeling, and I think it's the feeling you're going for. So
all right,
that would be my suggestion.
Excellent, good times.
otherwise, I like the way that the scoring is not overwhelming. You're not like playing for massive end game goals that you're building to progressively and wondering like, will I hit these goals in the classic sort of Euro style? It's just here's this phase, here's next phase. You score as you go. I like that adaptive strategy, and I like that I'm not overwhelmed by that decision. I like that there's there's 2 market rows with different use cases. In some deck builder games, you have your hand and you look at it forever and you wonder like, well, should I play this now? Then, but it was pretty easy for us to make our decisions, and every player played their turn pretty quickly, which I really liked. There was a very easy action system to understand, and players were very quickly moving through those actions, which to me felt very, very good for a game of this weight. I could see that becoming a slog, and I was worried that it was going to, but it didn't. So good job on that.
Yay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. What else would I say? This is a nitpicky little thing. These player boards are super complicated to me.
Okay.
I think I would like to have a god card that tells me what my god does and what their deck is composed of, and then a player aid that tells me how the player aid works. It's a weird thing, but I think if you separate those 2 things, it's a lot easier to digest that information.
Yeah, and then that top half can just be an image as well.
Exactly. I like that.
Yeah. It can be the god, image of the god.
Okay.
Otherwise, I like it, Chris. I'm excited to see more from it. Do you have any questions for me from that feedback?
No, yeah, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate that. I like the idea of the competitive placement during setup, and that would also change the spectrum of things, because I might take a tile from the supply here, and then I go, okay, I don't know yet what will score. And this is actually a conscious choice, because whenever you have a strategic decision during setup, that definitely gives an advantage to new players. It brings uncertainty to newer players. So, I try to remove as much of the strategic stuff during setup as possible, but there's definitely wants there to be some choices without a ton of strategy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Yeah, because well, and Evan's a big critic of blind decision making. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm forced to make a decision.
Yeah.
I think that's fine in some cases, but I do think you do have that. What I really wanted as we were doing it was like, oh, this needs to be structured, because it was just a free for all like placement.
Yeah.
I think if you add structure, it adds time to the game, and you have to, if you make it more structured, add some interest to it. So to make it worth doing at all. Otherwise, just say place random tiles on the board and don't let them touch. Or don't let them touch the same type of tile. And just have one person do that,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So that was
All right.
that's my thought. Nice game though. Really a lot of fun, and very excited to see how it develops from here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, Sandbagger.
Okay, so first we have some questions from the Peanut Gallery. Sasha says, it was interesting to see how powerful going last was. Seems like it's a big part of the strategy of the game. I wonder if Eric had hit Evan harder than Jack on that last turn, how things would have changed. And maybe it was because Jack went before Eric that he couldn't see how powerful my last turn would be. Should a player normally try to hit the player going last, assuming they'd have a better turn? And then for a Gateway Plus game, it could be nice to make it more obvious how good going last is, if that is generally the most powerful position.
Yeah, so actually, so this is version 24, 25 maybe?
Getting there.
One of the things that's always been a struggle is the last player advantage. I've tried to nerf it a little bit. I've tried to make the first player feel more powerful to balance that out. And the only thing that's really felt like it's worked so far has been to make the last player have either less energy or fewer cards in hand or just less stuff to do. They still get the hammer, they still get to be last, but they just aren't quite as effective at things versus first player. There's still reasons to go last, and I did try to mention that during the teach. I'm hoping it becomes a part of emerging gameplay to where you see what going first can do, but you can also see what going last does, and then one choice you want to make early on. In terms of actual like physical play at the table, what I probably have people do is make their choices to discard cards and then simultaneously put their cards face up on their discards face up on the table, so you don't get any advantage from seeing someone discard a card and then you panic and go, oh shoot, I should discard cards as well. So in a full proper real world play, everyone would kind of look around each other and then everyone's ready, 3, 2, 1, discard, and then you'd see how many cards you have in your hand. You'd verbally announce your energy and then take the first, second, third tokens. Going last is a huge benefit because if you have the right cards in hand, you can mess up a lot of people's play. Being able to deny the quest here was a great play. I think both of you helped with that. And being able to see what your opponents are doing and then respond to that is definitely an element of the strategy. This can also be taken to the extreme. I can see, like in one playtest, we had 2 players that both really wanted to be last. So the first player got to play all 5 of their cards. The second player, trying to be last, kept 3 of their cards. The third player, who actually went last, had 2 cards in hand. So it can be kind of a race to the bottom as well, and that can be some tactics as well. If you see someone that desperately wants to be last, you can try to bait them into, you can table talk, man. You can try to bait them into discarding more of their cards, or you can try to make them think you want to go last, so you're going to discard more cards. So lots of room to play with that.
Can I ask a question really quick?
Yeah, please.
Have you ever tried basing turn order off of who's furthest along on the point track?
I have not.
Like the first player of the round is going to be the player who's furthest along, and so then people know who to pummel.
I like that. Yeah, and
it's simpler.
Also, yeah, I actually really like that. Now that you mention it.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. So
that also addresses. Sorry, before Evan jumps in, that also addresses my complaint, Chris, or one of my potential, things was the catch-up mechanism. It addresses that in an elegant way, I think.
Yeah.
Could be interesting. Got play test it.
Exactly. Of course.
Yeah. So I have only played this half of a game or 3/7 of a game. So I can't say this for certain, but I'm not sure I agree that going last is best.
Okay.
And for the simple fact that you can snipe these things. Now, does that mean that these are overvalued? Maybe.
Yeah. So
right?
the quests have recently been almost doubled in value, following that classic philosophy of double or half values. They were underpowered before, and I think that they might be a touch overpowered now. They do take some time and effort to do, and I want you to be focusing on these as one viable way to win. You could probably win the game just focusing on quests, not focusing on the area control. And I want that to be an option. Like if that's one end of the spectrum, the other end is playing this game here, going all out on controlling areas, putting out temples, and so on. The cards help you either way you go. Go ahead.
I would posit that you do not want people to be able to ignore this game.
Okay.
In order to win. Now,
All right.
now, yes, maybe they don't have to focus on it as much as the other players, and this could be a larger focus, but you don't, in my opinion, design-wise, you don't want one strategy to totally obviate the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, engagement from the rest of the game systems.
Okay.
You like need to dabble in all. Maybe you can focus on this or focus on that, but you have to dabble in all.
Okay, that makes sense.
At least that's kind of a goal that I think is something I should work. Yeah, so going first at these values, I feel like going first actually is a lot better than it seems like everybody else thinks so. So maybe I'm just wrong. But being able to pull these off the board and thin your deck, to me is like a no question. Like, yeah, do that. I kind of forgot about the quests until that last round. Then I was like, oh yeah, I'll take 14 extra points to discard a janky card I don't need.
Yeah.
Sure. And all I have to do is I had to use one other card to set it up and then discard this one. I was like, yeah, okay, great, 14 points. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly the sort of gameplay that I'm hoping for. You look at the quests and you go, okay, that quest isn't going to be all that helpful, worthwhile, whatever. But yeah, as you're looking at the quest, you might have a reason to go first. If you're looking at the board, you might have a reason to go last. And there's other things to consider there, of course.
And again, on the board, I'm not convinced going last is as good as people are thinking either. Because Jack came in here and bogged all this up, and I just couldn't get in there.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any smiting or yeeting. So he was just there.
Yeah.
So I don't think going last is as much better as people think. Although I do agree that it probably is better generally.
Yeah.
Unless you're also considering these things. So anyway,
yeah.
That's my feeling on last versus first. I'm not convinced it's as runaway last going as people think.
Definitely. Now, your character may have had a role in this as well. Hermes is great for moving people around and placing people.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All
I understand the deck makeup. Yeah, for sure. So, speaking of that, the exile card. If I look at a game now, this is pretty darn streamlined, right? You've been working on this for a long time. It's pretty dang functional, right? It's very smooth. It works really well, with a couple little exceptions. But the exile card, I just didn't see people using it very much. It did get used twice, by Eric to get Jack out of here. But overall, I don't see it as being substantively or interestingly different from Smite.
Okay.
Yet, like, I understand it is different. It stays on the board. It just goes somewhere else instead of going back to your supply, which creates some different interaction styles. Like, then I can just reproduce it back out on the board versus if it was elsewhere, then I'd have to move it. Like, I get that it's different, but to me, it's not substantively or interestingly different.
Okay.
So, if you wanted to skinny things up, you could replace those cards. And this goes, this combines another piece of feedback with action phase. For you play cards for their action or for their energy, or you can smite a hand card once, right, to take a quest. You can delete that last line item, replace exile with smites in your deck, and the smite card says discard to take a quest or smite one mortal from the board. Right?
Okay.
And then it cleans up those two things all at once, and then you only have, you're just playing your cards either for this or that.
Okay. So the exile card becomes smite a hand card to take a quest, this specific action here, or
the card itself says discard to take a quest or smite one mortal from the board.
Okay.
Are you suggesting that there are two types of smites, Weston or Evan, or
a smite card?
Okay.
Where you can discard the card to take a quest, or you do not discard it and you just kill a mortal.
Okay, so smiting is dual function.
Right.
Yeah, and and that's actually how Smite was. So the exile action is one of the newest ones in the game. Basically, Smite at the time, Smite was fairly overpowered because the number of times you're placing and the number of times you're smiting used to be more equal. I tried to put my thumb on this scale now, so most of the time you'll have more chances to place than smite.
Yes, I think that's appropriate.
And then as Exile came in, Exile was basically an attempt to thread the needle here. I wanted people to feel like they had some power to move people around and kind of mess up their plans without causing them to lose access to a region. What was happening when places and smites were equal, we just didn't have a lot of dudes on our map. And you want to have a lot of dudes on this map, especially as you get to the mid game, the late game. So I definitely like the idea of using the cards to smite a hand card, and specifically this. That would make those cards. That would mean those cards would probably leave your deck pretty quickly, unless you kept them for their energy, and then use them to buy stuff.
Right, because smiting is good. But also, those quests are really good. So, do you ditch your smite card to get a quest, or do you keep it to smite people? I don't know. Could be good.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah. And this might even this is a 2 energy card. Your starting deck starts with 1s and 2s in energy. So keeping this card makes it a lot easier to purchase quests. This card directly purchases some quests like this one, and can assist in purchasing the 3s and the 4s. Yeah, I like where your head is.
The discard thing, it sounds like in other plays you do see that happening a lot. In our play, you did not see it happening a lot. So maybe that's adjusting my bias on the value of going last. I don't know. But if you do switch out the how you determine who goes last, like via, whoever's ahead goes first. I would love to see that discard phase go away, especially if it's a thing you're having to have like a simultaneous reveal and the AP of thinking. Because if you're going to discard cards, you don't just have to decide, hey, I want to go last. You have to decide, okay, of these 5 cards, which ones do I really need to keep on my turn? And if I go last, I really just need these 3 cards. And so I can discard these 2. But I don't know what anybody else is doing, so maybe I'll just discard one of them to keep this one as a flyer, and maybe I was going to discard it for a quest. That's a lot of processing to do at the start of a round.
Yeah.
Before you actually get your turn, and then reprocess with the board state how it is now.
Yeah, there's also there's also like a poker element, like a social deduction element that's added in that is just very weighty. And that can be fun. Like social deduction is an element of strategy games and area control games. And this is a game that involves a lot of reading your opponent, working through your opponent. But that kind of social deduction, I think, bogs down this game.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea of the turn order going, the order of the score dictating the order of the turns.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on, obviously, if you're in first, if this is a tight game like this, if it's just a couple of points difference here, whoever's in last is still obviously going to be, in a close game like this, you can easily shoot from last place to first place, but you're not sure if you should, because it's only most points at the end of the game that matters. Any thoughts on combating the literal sandbagging? I can see people trying to not be in first just because they might not want to be in first, or kind of hanging back. Go ahead.
Personally, I find that creates more player interaction and engagement with what other players are doing. If you've heard of or played After the Empire, then you'll know that I freaking love that. Personally.
Yeah. Okay. I've heard of it. I've not played it. I'll have to research it.
Yeah, no. Basically, it's the same thing where, like, if you're in the lead, there's a detriment to being in the lead. So you don't always necessarily want to be in the lead, even though that's how you win, is by being in the lead.
Yeah, the first game that comes to my mind on that is Power Grid, where there's a very definite kind of strategic idea of where I want to be. Do I want to be toward the beginning or the end? So I think it adds a strategic element to it.
I like that.
The interesting thing bringing up Power Grid is you always want to, at least me, whenever I play Power Grid, I always want to get to the lead though. So there's a battle internally with myself where it's like, I'm holding myself back and I don't want to be at all, you know?
Yeah.
But you're holding yourself back for that slingshot that's going to throw you all the way to the front. And that's the moment of the game that has the element of fun in it.
I mean, it's the Dominion, when do you start the province run? You know, like it's like, okay, now I'm going to be getting the points.
Yeah.
But the whole time you're thinking, I want to be doing that as soon as possible.
Yeah, and as you're playing, obviously there's still a benefit for being first. You still get the chance to grab the cards you want. Even if I nerf the quest cards a little bit, this does feel a bit high, the 14 points.
Yeah, even if that was 8 points, that's still amazing.
Yeah, a couple ideas about the quests that I just realized listening to Evan talk about them. I didn't look at them at all because it just seemed like it was a long game sort of strategy, and we were only going to play 3 rounds. But I realized that there's a problem with refreshing the quest every single round, in that they're all long game strategies to complete the quest, but then they're all refreshed every single round.
Well, they score at the end of each round, right?
They can score during any scoring phase whenever you've completed it, and then the card goes away. So it's meant as a one-time thing.
You can pick it up in round 1 and score it in round 3.
Correct.
Got it.
Have you tried playing with the idea of just having a set number of quests at the beginning of the game, and once they're claimed, that's it? Or another potential idea is having a quest be claimable by multiple players, but the first player who claims it gets a little bit more points.
I've looked at a few different systems. The simple answer was I liked the elegance of one person claiming one card and then completing it, putting it aside. In previous versions, the quest row just refilled automatically after every person took a card. And what that led to was the feeling that the first player didn't necessarily have an advantage there. This was me trying to re-weight the game a little bit to give the first player a bit more of an advantage.
I like how you have it now comparatively.
Yeah.
For that reason.
I would my only concern is whether or not there's a little bit too much random luck involved on the quest. Where if a quest flips over at the beginning of the round and somebody could easily just snatch it for 14 points, it feels like it's stealing away from all the strategy that I've invested in the game, just to give the person next to me 14 points just because it happened to turn over and they happened to already meet the condition of it. So
maybe it refills to, well, if it refills to 3, like hypothetically someone claimed this quest, instead of trashing these other 2, maybe these stay here and then we refill to 3. That
would be better, I think.
Yeah, my only concern there is a potentially stale market if people decide this one it doesn't look like it's worth it because it's only 2 per forest. That's all of 4 points, and that quest just stays there for the entire game. That's the other thing I was trying to avoid.
Yeah, true. Especially if you don't have any forests, like we didn't have Volcano.
Yeah, well, in cases where the quest would be impossible or would score 0 points, then that quest would just be removed from the game and then played out. This was an unusual sort of setup because there were no volcanoes. I have toyed with the idea of ensuring every setup always has at least one of each, but that just added a kind of a clunky, fiddly step to setup that I wasn't terribly fussed about. It just meant that when this card comes out with this scoring card here, then your all effort and all eyes are on the forests, and then everyone goes, how do I score the forests this round? How do I outmaneuver my opponents? Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for your thoughts and your time here.
I've still got more.
Evan, Thank you. Go
if
ahead.
other people start running, then I just let them run until
Of
they're
course.
tuckered out, and then I start again. So let's see. I had some other ideas for last place benefits like temple moving and stuff, but if you're going to switch how that works, then that's not relevant. The volcano thing, it does create, more focus on the one, but to me it just felt like a bummer that it wasn't out here, and I felt like it should have been forced.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, could you just cycle the goal card? Like, if it comes up and one of those isn't on there, just draw another one.
Yeah. If there were no forests in the game when we at the start of the round, whenever the
Mhm.
card comes out, that would be impossible to complete. It would just be
Mhm.
put off to the side. It would never. It
Yeah.
would never stay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I imagine if that's what you would do with quest cards, you could just do the same thing with the goal cards. Consistency.
Okay.
I don't know. It sounded like earlier you were saying you wanted to increase the value of the temples a little bit. Is that true?
I'm pretty happy with where the temples are
Okay.
right now.
Never mind then.
So right now, what was here in the previous version, the temples were all one color. They always helped everyone. And in the previous version, you'd always score 1 point per meeple. And if you had the most meeples in a region, each temple scored you 2 points.
Mhm.
So every temple potentially helped the person with the most here.
Yeah.
So
No, if
if
you're
you
happy
didn't have the most,
with where they're at, then that's great.
Yeah.
The world building, I agree with Jack. Either just like have it predetermined, or much larger, a double-sided board that has 2 different layouts, or four chunky tiles that are double-sided that can fit wherever. Like some way of either making it more predetermined, or actually fold it into that phase of where we're putting out our first mortals. Where Eric takes a land tile, puts it out, and puts a mortal on it. Jack takes a land tile, puts it out, puts a mortal on it. Whatever, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So
Larger tiles, more mortals. Smaller tiles, like you place a 5 or you get 1. You get 2 mortals, or you place a
whatever.
9. I don't know.
Yeah, just either
Yeah.
either just let it be a thing that gets done. Like I just put out the board, there it is, or incorporate it, like Jack was saying, into the game a little bit more. That's it. Aside from all that stuff that I just said, this is obviously super far along. It was awesome. I would definitely play the full game and really enjoy it. I like how simple but focused the gameplay is. And yeah, man, I really like it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Man,
Well,
I was just thinking about that creation step, how cool it would be if these were all like open information and you had like asymmetric, like when you place a volcano, you smite a mortal in another area. Or when you place a wheat field, you place 2 mortals because it's abundance. Or when you place a desert, you also place a temple. So you're like jump starting that.
That's cool.
That movement.
Okay. So maybe you're choosing. So if these are all like a pile here, at the start of the game, you just shuffle the piles and then you take one from the top of a pile.
Right.
And then, okay, this is a grassland, so you can place 2 mortals here.
Yeah.
This is a volcano. You can smite a mortal someone else has already played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Something like that.
So each type of tile has a special thing you can do with it when you place it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you just pick 2 and choose 1. Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your thoughts and your time here. Any final thoughts before I flip the table?
Yes. Sasha Jelton says, having like 4 to 6 tiles that have combinations of terrains on them can be oriented in any way. Cryptid comes to mind as a game that uses 6 tiles to make a huge number of combinations.
Okay. Yes. Cryptid is awesome.
But
Okay.
yeah, I think that's it for feedback, right, guys? Anything else?
Yes.
No,
Well,
Go ahead.
Eric, did you have anything else, or were you
No,
just
I
saying?
was gonna say I was good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. One thing I always like to ask on this channel, Chris, is as you're hearing our feedback, and as you're, watching this game, this particular test, what comes to mind for you as the designer of this game? Like, what are you seeing as most important?
So one thing I always want to make sure, first and foremost, people are playing correctly. I'll use the term mechanical competency. So you're playing the game correctly. You're not cheating accidentally or intentionally. You're not being nursed through the turns. You've got a good sense of things. And I think you all had that by the end of the first round. Once you have that, only once you have that, you get into strategic competency. I am playing the game with strategic intent. I'm not playing randomly, in other words. And once you have strategic competency, it might not be the best strategy, but it's a strategy that is adapting and considered. And, you get to the fun part of the game when you get to choose what you're doing, how you're doing it. So I'm always looking at how quickly players pick up on that stuff. I'm also, to some extent, looking at what strategies are being employed. Generally curious to see if anyone tries anything I haven't yet seen. Sometimes someone just decides I want to try an extreme strategy just to see if the game can take it. Sometimes it's I want to see what happens when I dump all my guys into one area, and those are always fun to see. Beyond that, just kind of frantically taking notes as fast as I can. Definitely love the idea of the turn order, or of the scoring order dictating the turn order. That also kind of makes sense from the thematic standpoint. And then otherwise, just making sure people understand what they can do, and then try not to coach during play if I can help it, but making sure people know what they can do in case there's a concern about a rule or something. And a previous playtest I had with a different game, I realized that I forgot to teach, like, one sentence during the teach radically changed how someone approached some of the cards in the game. And I realized, like, it was on the reference card. I just forgot to mention it verbally during the teach. And, people would have made different choices if I had mentioned it. So trying to get the teach right and making sure everyone understands their options is also important. And then as the game goes on, making sure people feel like they're scoring the game correctly. And I do this more with gateway games, and then definitely with mass market games. Basically, the question I'll ask is, how confident do you feel that you scored it correctly? Not whether you did or not. How confident do you feel? Because what sometimes happens in some games, if I feel confident I scored it correctly, I'll do my scoring, and then I'll sit back and relax. I did good. I did fine. If I don't feel confident I scored it correctly myself, you'll notice people kind of looking at other people's boards. Oh, hang on, did you score that correctly? You gave yourself 3 points for that? That's only worth, 2? And it just creates a bit of anxiety. It also creates a bit more, I want to check your work. Someone's going to go, I want to see how you got 85 points there. So it leads to a bit of auditing. And that just adds time to the scoring or the admin phase of the game. So even if it wasn't perfectly scored correctly, if you feel like it was scored correctly, then that can ease up on the scoring and admin time.
Nice.
Cool. Well, should we say our outros?
Yeah, let's start with you, Chris. If people want to play Smite, what do they do? How do they connect with you? Or if they want to learn about more of your games, what you do?
Yeah. So at That's ETR game. Run playtest on Thursday. That's virtualplaytesting.com. It's a Discord server. And close that out. There we go. Hopefully the internet connection is better now.
Yeah,
Again,
Zoom,
Zoom and Tabletop Simulator are just divas when it comes to trying to get the internet. But yeah, entrogames.com for my games, virtualplaytesting.com for the twice weekly Discord server. This is designers playtesting designers games. If you're looking to pitch your games and pitch well, tabletoppublishers.com is the database of over 500 publishers. It's all public facing information. You can sort, you can search, you can filter, and it's a great resource to basically find the right publishers for your game. You may find me.
And how do you? Is that that's a paid thing, right? Where it's like a one-time fee to get in, or is it a monthly thing?
It's a $50 lifetime thing.
Yeah, that's a pretty darn good deal, I think.
Yeah, and it's the same exact data that I use myself. There's no personal information. Anything said in confidence is not available, obviously, but right. It's a one-time lifetime thing because I personally hate monthly subscriptions.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And so, I was chatting with you, I don't know, a month or two ago, and you were talking about like updating that database with some amount of frequency. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so my personal policy here is I do at least a twice yearly update of just everything. And it's gotten big enough to where I actually had to hire someone to help me with that research. But yeah, it's something I do in the background. I probably could mention it more, but yeah, at least twice a year, every listing gets a visual sort of look to make sure everything looks good still and is still correct. I was a subscriber of Cardboard Edison's list. They've got a great list. I really like their approach towards, like, they'll ask the publisher to fill out a form and then they'll publish the data.
Right.
And you get it straight from the publisher's mouth in that case. So I do like that approach. The only challenge was that the data got out of date, and something a publisher said a year ago isn't really as helpful as something they said last week or last month. Relying on what they wanted a year ago, things change with publishers quickly. So again, I love their approach. I just wish there was more consistency with it, up to dateness. You can see the dates and you can make your own decisions from there. But yeah, everything with Tabletop Publishers gets updated at least twice a year. And whenever I hear something on Facebook or see something on Facebook, a publisher friend or a designer friend will say, "Oh yeah, did you hear about this new thing that they're doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And that usually gives me a reason to go check that out for my own personal interests, but also for Tabletop Publishers.
Yeah.
But yeah, for playing games, entrogames.com is my main source. Come join us in virtual playtesting. I'm also a regular in remote playtesting that meets Tuesdays and Saturdays. And yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you for all the plugs.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for coming on and letting us play and give critique on your game. Eric, tell the fans at home where they can find and support you.
Oh, I just there's not much.
There's probably going to be like at least 3 people that watch this. So
yeah, let's see. I'm gonna be at Kubla Khan on Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be playtesting there if anybody happens to be watching and is wants to come by and say hi. But other than that, you can also find my contact information on the Sacramento Board Game Designers Meetup. There's also a Facebook group for Sacramento Board Game Designers. You can join us there. And that's about it.
All right.
So, yeah.
And awesome. Your upcoming game is called?
So I'm going to be playtesting 2 games, Dice Gods, and then my new game is Deductive Seasoning. That I'm going to be playtesting. Nice. It's
Dad pun.
Yeah, well, I love puns, so any game is probably going to eventually grow into a pun. But yeah.
I do love that change one letter,
and
you get a whole new thing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Deductive seasoning. That's amazing.
It's deductive reasoning game where you're trying to figure out the secret ingredient that you put in your dish.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, that totally makes sense. That's great.
Jack.
Love it. Jack Dunbar, New Kingdom Gaming. You can find me at www.newkingdomgaming.com or Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. Just funded New Kingdom Gardeners that just left Kickstarter this week. Very excited about that.
Man.
Chris,
Congrats.
Chris did a proof of my rule book. So if it reads clearly at all, Chris had something to do with that.
But if it's not,
yeah. If it's not, it's because I made changes since Chris was in there. So that's why.
Yeah, right. There we go.
Yeah, it's just seriously. So thanks a lot, Chris. I appreciate that.
Welcome, buddy.
Yeah. But yeah, no, New Kingdom Gaming. Very
Cool.
Very excited about the future. Looking forward to developing more games and getting hopefully more projects going. So
awesome. Evan Halbert, I made After the Empires, the only one that you can probably find right now. But I also made a little trick-taking game in Emily Willicks's little Bah Humbug collection of 12 games from or her game plus 12 other little mini games within the card set that she made. So go find and buy 27 of those. Go purchase After the Empire, and then also the expansion that hopefully will be coming to market probably early 24. Who knows when? At some point next year, probably. And all the other games that I will ever come out with, buy at least 10 copies of each one. And thanks everybody for listening to the show and watching the show. And I hope that you learned something that's useful for your own design process. Just watching how we went through and talked about everything here. That's kind of the whole goal is, of course, help, give a little bit of feedback for Chris and so he can work on his specific game. But what can you learn by watching how this is done and then take that and apply some of the things that you're seeing here to your own designs. And then, of course, it does not replace your own playtesting. You still have to go do that. But cool.
That's right.
Awesome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on. Sorry about the timing confusion there, but glad we were able to get you in and get it done.
Yeah, man.
Yes. Very exciting. Yeah. Keep working on Smite. Really excited to see that one.
Yeah, no, it's already really good, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll be pitching it at the Games Expo here in the UK. Definitely going to have it ready for Essen.
Nice.
And yeah, so I'm really happy with it.
Awesome.
Sweet. It's awesome.
All right, everybody. Cool. Have a wonderful evening. We are